Hello, everybody, and welcome to the patch 7.29 analysis between the great Braximus. As you can see on screen, he is his lighting is really good in his professional setup. He has Hotbit and Eternal Envy behind him in the bathtub. They may look quite still, but I assure you they are alive. Brax, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. This thing's huge. I don't know where to begin.
Is it actually huge? Okay, so to put it out there, I have only looked at the new hero. I know basically nothing about the patch other than like the stat thing because I noticed that in game. So
So this might be a purge level patch analysis where it takes like 6 hours.
really. Okay, I was not. My bowels are not prepared for this, but let's start anyway. So, the new hero named Dawnbreaker. Her name itself is Valora, which I'm really sad they didn't use her real name. They used Dawnbreaker. She looks
What's
like
her real
she's
name?
Valora.
Oh,
What do you
never mind.
think?
I misunderstood.
It's short for Valorant. Uh,
I see.
anyway, she looks like she's from a mobile game. I don't know how you feel. Looks literally the same as every mobile game. It's like Heroes
She just
Clash.
looks like she's from League of Legends.
Yeah, that too. Oh, it actually does put her as a carry. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Melee carry, durable. You know nothing about this hero, right?
Correct.
So we'll just briefly go over her skills. You can look at it on the site or in game, however you like. But her first ability is like this uncontrollable combo where she does like a little whirling thing. Uh, it increases based on the damage that she acquires throughout the game, so it procs items and whatnot. So it's just like another swashbuckle almost, except it's
Okay.
super low range. And then on the third swing, she slams down, which ends up stunning the target. So it to me, it feels like it's pretty hard to hit without like a blink or something or a setup of some kind, but it does scale really well with items. So
Okay.
that's her first ability. Second ability is a hammer that she throws. Pretty
You're not
freaking
even
long
gonna state the
range.
ability? Isn't this important?
All right, the first ability was called Starbreaker. I mean, I already
Thank
made
you.
a spotlight video on this, so that's why I'm kind of, doing the basics here. Brax, thank you. Celestial Hammer. She throws a hammer. It's like 1300 range, pretty freaking long. It deals like 150 damage to anything it passes through, and then after 2 seconds, it comes back to her, dealing 150 damage again, and it leaves a trail of fire similar to like the Mars spear, which slows and does a little bit of damage over time. But if she activates the hammer anytime during that 2 second duration, or even as it's coming back, she will kind of transport herself halfway up the distance to the hammer. So it can
So
be
this
used
is a
as pseudo
discount
blink.
gap closing in like you know, you can go
Yeah,
over hills and stuff, right?
right,
With runaway.
exactly. Yep. The
I see.
passive Luminosity, not sponsored by the team, I don't think. It's essentially like a Slardar proc where every 4 hits, something happens. Where you have a critical strike damage, which I think is 1.8 critical strike, and it'll heal your allies and yourself based on the damage that you've done. But even though the wording is
Okay.
absolute trash, I had to test this out a million times. The
I'm
healing on
struggling. You
you,
gotta.
healing on yourself is way more than your allies. So it's meant more for you than anything. So, like, if you get into late game situations, you have I'm like this hero sounds crazy as a carry. Just a right click, like a lot of attack speed with like one proccing item, you just heal a shit ton constantly. Because the heal is based on the attack damage you do. So, and then her ultimate is Solar Guardian. It's a global ability, Brax. 1.5 second channeling time. You can go to any allied hero, not creeps. And then after that delay, or during that delay, I should say, it deals a little bit of damage over time in the area, and it also heals allies in the area. And then once you get there, you stun in that AOE.
So I have a question. It says damage per pulse and heal per pulse. What is a pulse? What does that mean? Is this an how? What is it? How do I get a pulse? How many
So
pulses are there?
my understanding is that it's per second, and it's a 1.6 second channel time. So it's like a proc and a half. I didn't test it enough to really
That doesn't
get
make
the.
any sense.
I know it. It's a just say a couple procs, a couple pulses.
How, Nowhere in the wording does it tell me how many pulses there are. Oh, just kidding. It does right here. It says damaging enemies and healing allies with each. Never mind. It's not there.
It's not there.
Oh,
Like I
boy.
said, the wording, especially for the passive, if you look in game, very, very poor wording. But I mean, you haven't really seen this hero, but what do you think? First
This
impressions.
passive looks like garbage.
Really?
It looks extremely undertuned. So every 4 hits, that's the equivalent of 25%, right? Which is basically what Slaughter is.
Mm-hmm.
It is a 1.8 crit, which is extremely low for a 25% chance.
Mm-hmm.
And healing from heroes is 40% of your damage off a crit. So this is worse than Chaos Knight's passive. And there's a healing reduction on creeps, so your lane sustain is even lower. Obviously,
that's
the
true.
upside is that there's an AoE heal to it, but this looks terrible, honestly.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I thought it was cool. I mean, you
It's
don't really
probably
have
cool, but it looks garbage.
like if I guess I'm thinking of just super late game situations where you have like a Scotty, a Basher, and all this shit, which is probably unrealistic. But
So while that is all true, you would get almost the same value from a single Mask of Death
Hmm.
in terms of heal. Obviously, there's the crit part, and then the Starbreaker ability is like the 3 auto attack thing, so you get that crit at the very end, and I guess that's where it's kind of cool. But like outside of it, it's really mediocre looking.
Okay.
Maybe it's amazing with the Q. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it does proc on the Q, but the Q seems kind of underwhelming to me. It's just so hard to hit. But
It's a super clunky spell, actually.
yeah, that is a good
I
word for
thought
it.
you'd be able to activate each individual like stage of it yourself, so that you wouldn't commit to, throwing down 3 charges of it where you're standing.
Mm-hmm.
Because this looks super hard to use. I don't think you can ever land this without a stun or a slow.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you get interrupted during it?
Yes. You cannot cancel it
Let's
yourself.
see.
It's the same with your ultimate. You can't cancel it yourself, but enemies can cancel it.
Wow. Okay.
I feel like they made a hero to try to make that strength blink good, because it is good on her, no doubt. Strength hero needs the slow,
Right.
all that setup, but yeah. So my first prediction was that it would not be a new hero. The new hero would not be from the anime. So I'm 1 for 1 so far, Brax. I'm really proud of myself.
Wow, look at you.
I know Valve too well.
Impressive.
Okay, so let's move on to the actual patch, because the hero, it's really hard to speculate. And I have read absolutely nothing other than the 2 attribute thing. 7.29. So map updates. So, okay, I lied. I did look at this. You can tell me just briefly how big of a changes some of these are.
Okay. What are we looking? I should be looking at your stream so I can see what you're looking at. I'm really dumb.
No, just go. I mean, we're just going through in order. You tell me what is important to look at in the game.
Okay. Everything's important. That's the problem. How can I pick one thing? Everything's important.
Okay, Brax, just do your best, okay?
All right. So are we at the map changes that we're looking at?
Yes, the map changes. So what's it called? The outposts are now more centered in each respective jungle.
Okay. I see that.
Have you? Oh wait, is this your first impression too?
So I read a little bit of the hero changes. I read about half of it, but I didn't look at the map stuff.
Oh,
I
okay.
figured I'd just look at it in game because it's really confusing with just screenshots of the old places because
It's
the
true.
outposts are in different places.
Yeah, they got rid of some of
So
these cliffs for wards that Cinderin has been like begging Ice Frog for. So they finally caved. It looks like.
Mm-hmm. So just a quick overview, I guess. There's a lot more tree juke spots. It looks like, as
Yeah, I
you
have
can
not
see
looked
in the Radiant mid.
Ooh.
They removed the high ground in the Radiant primary jungle. It's now the outpost is there instead of the Warden Cliff Hill, right? Yes.
Keep going. I'm just going through the pictures.
Okay. And in the Dire primary jungle, are we missing a jungle camp? We are, right? Because there was a camp to the north part.
Yeah, I saw
don't
one
know.
was missing. I don't know if they made up for it somewhere else though.
Right, I don't either. That's why I needed to see these things in game because I wasn't actually
Yeah.
sure what this meant.
We don't have to spend too much time on this one. It's fine.
Okay. I mean, in general, right? They moved some of the cliff spots. They changed it up with more tree juking paths. It looks like. It looks like there's a jungle camp moved in the dire safe lane. Now there's the mud golems there instead of a small camp, right? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard from looking at screenshots because
I
it
mean,
just
the
looks so
easiest ones to
strange.
talk about are a couple of the obviously the outpost being in the middle is a big change, and then well, not a huge change, but it's a change, and then
Mm-hmm.
the cliff wards have been moved, which is huge, especially in that top tier 1 tower. So that changes a lot.
Yep.
God, this scroll is awful. Okay, so moving down. All right, let's just talk about the actual updates. Terrain updated with various changes we just went over. Added a water power rune. Is this what I suggested? Spawns at both power rune locations only at minute 2 and 4. Instantly restores 100 health and 80 mana when used. Can be used to fill bottles starting at 6 minutes. Power runes spawn as usual on one side. I see. Okay. So it is kind of what I was hoping for. So it spawns at both locations at 2 and 4.
Wait.
Hmm.
There's been a breakthrough here, Shannon. There's a slider, and you can move it, and it shows you everything.
I
And I
know,
didn't know that.
Brax. I know.
Oh, you're supposed to tell me.
I thought that was self-explanatory. You're the analyst here, okay?
All right, my bad. I shouldn't have brought it up. Anyways, water runes. Yep, fantastic. You predicted this, by the way.
Yep, I sure did. How does this change things? So minute 2 and 4, so it only spawns twice in an entire game. Fills your bottle, or you can instantly use it, so it's useful no matter what. And then power runes at 6 minutes. That's a giant change. We've gone from 0 minutes to 2 minutes to 4 minutes to 6 minutes.
Yep. Next step is just to take them out of the game.
It's getting there, yeah.
Yep. So it says starting at 6 minutes, power rune spawn as usual on one side. Does that mean that the other rune is still a water rune?
At what side?
At 6 minutes, power runes begin to spawn. So does that mean water runes are gone entirely, or does that mean the other rune is still a water rune?
Spawns at both power rune locations only at minute 2 and 4. So no,
Oh,
never
reading is
again.
hard.
Yes.
I
So
see. So for 2 minutes, or sorry, for 4 minutes in the game, there's double runes, and then that gets removed. That is strange, isn't it? I
it feels
imagined that the
forced,
other
yeah.
rune would have just been the water rune anyways.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I said this before, like the whole idea of a ghost rune, it feels a bit forced, but if you want to keep power runes, it's kind of the only logical solution. Feels a little manufactured, but hopefully it ends up being okay. We'll see.
I kind of hate this honestly, cause
Did you play Han when
sure,
this was a thing?
I don't remember, so probably not.
I think it was after our time.
I think so. Isn't this strange though? I would have thought that the second, dummy rune or blank rune, water rune, whatever, I guess it has a name, it's a water rune, would just be there on the opposite side of the power rune still.
Hmm.
Because I don't feel like this addressed anything in terms of competitive Dota. If you're playing competitive Dota or high level Dota and you had Storm Spirit or Void Spirit or Puck and you managed to secure them every power rune after 6 minutes, you actually couldn't lose the game.
Mm-hmm.
And this didn't change any. The only thing this changed was like the bullshit factor, right? Of playing mid lane and some dude gets a 2 minute double damage or 2 minute regen. But yeah, like you don't even have a bottle at 2 minutes. People get bought at like 4:30,
I mean, spamming more
five
abilities
minutes.
early or more rotations early. I don't know. Yeah,
Because like in
interesting to
my mind,
see.
this benefits the 4 position. Playing some roamers, you get to press your abilities. Then now you have more duties. You guys will get to later when we get to bounty runes. There's more things for them to do on the map.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, let's keep going, I guess.
Right. Added +2 attributes, leveling for up to 7 times for the 7 empty slots from 1 to 26, and can be leveled in any order via clicking on the talent tree circle. They'll automatically be leveled if there are no other options available. Level 30 no longer grants all remaining talents. Instead, 27, 28, 29, 30 will grant you the remaining level 10, 15, 20, 25 talents. Wait, what?
Cool.
Oh, I see. That's
Yeah,
really
you just
cool.
get them over time now, faster.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
awesome.
Yeah, that's
The
cool.
last part's awesome. The leveling stats, I'm not a fan of. I mean,
Wow.
you're basically adding more power into the game, right? And you're
Mm-hmm.
also giving your teammates to potentially level up the wrong ability. Now they have one more choice. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you've played enough Dota to realize that your teammates don't exactly make the right choices all the time. So this is very dangerous.
Wow.
Now you're gonna have anti-mages with level 1 blink and then attributes the entire game. You're gonna have people that just don't level up their abilities to get attributes, and maybe it'll be good, but oftentimes like giving people more decisions gives them a higher chance to mess up. Not a fan.
I thought I was gonna be the only one that hated this change. I love the fact that they got rid of the 2 attributes before. It was such an annoying, like, it felt like overcomplication for no real reason, and now they're bringing it back.
Right.
So, not a fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me neither.
I thought it was actually a terrible design to have heroes like I remember Juggernaut used to get Blade Fury, you get nothing else, just stats for like 2 levels, just because he needed it to get mana. And I don't know. It just not a fan of that kind of shit. I'm sure people like Cinder and love it though. So whatever. We'll see.
Oh boy.
Outposts no longer give XP at the 10, 20, 30, etc. minute mark. Outposts now provide XP per minute while controlled 2 per minute, 2 times per minute. No extra XP granted when controlling 2 outposts, similar to the existing rules. Compared to the previous version, 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes, total XP given per player changed from blah, blah, blah to blah, blah, blah. The XP is provided on the minute mark. The amount you get for each minute at the start is 20 minutes at the highest level for minutes 1 through 10. Okay, so it's not about getting it at a specific time. It's about holding it for a longer period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's every minute.
So I wonder how that changes lane dynamics, because obviously on like the first burst of excuse me, I don't even know if I can call it a burst of experience, but like on the first initial point of getting experience, if the enemy denied 1 creep from you in lane and you were getting solo experience, you wouldn't get level 2. And in a dual lane, you would need 2 full creep waves of experience to get level 2. So I wonder if this small tiny bit of experience is able to offset that 1 deny. If so, then that kind of equalizes playing a weaker lane, for example. It's not by very much, but like there's some very specific situations where this can make a difference.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But
I didn't really think about that.
isn't it, this seems so strange, doesn't it? Like I feel like Dota did something good by telling you, hey, this timer is coming up, this is your objective. Your goal is to try to claim this outpost before, the 10, 20 or sorry, the 20 or 30 minute mark. And now that's gone, because that actually was a pretty large objective in the game. Not in terms of like rewards, but like the game is telling you that like, hey, you're going to receive some sort of benefit by doing this. And now that's kind of gone because the intervals for it are so small.
Right. It's
You know
funny
what I
because
mean? There's
I've been
no
talking to
immediate
Sinner about
reward.
this for weeks, and all he's been complaining about is the opposite of what you're saying, which is
Excellent.
he hates that everything is just handed to people. This game is too easy now. It's just too straightforward. This is what you're supposed to do, which I understand on a certain level, but overall, I liked the way it was still.
I think that gives direction in the game, right? What if Roshan only spawned at every 5-minute interval and was alive for 1 minute? Then it would become a constant point of contention at every, you know, whatever given interval, right, in the mid to late game.
Mhm.
It gives people something to look forward to, and it gives them a common goal. And I think that's extremely important at lower levels of gameplay where the game is extremely random and everybody's off doing their own thing. If you give somebody a common goal to accomplish, it kind of unites the team, because everybody understands or has the ability to understand what they're trying to do in the next 5 minutes without actually having to communicate to anyone, right?
Mhm.
It'll already sound like a good idea because the game rewards you for doing this task. So I like things like that. I think they bring more unity to the game, and it makes it easier to play.
So this version is less fixed, more dynamic, which has its pros and its cons, I guess.
Well, what are the
Um,
pros?
well, the pros is that it's more dynamic. It feels more fluid to people that thought the game was too stagnant or too
Okay.
predictable, perhaps. Um,
It's weird because I think that some things should be dynamic, and I think some things should be stagnant.
mhm. Yeah, this is great to hear. I'm happy that you agree with me for the most part. Okay.
Yeah, you're just happy to, bury Cinder in deep down,
Would you
and
like to start a podcast with me?
I
All right.
have seen in Bruges.
Thank you. You're such a good friend. Bounty runes after the initial set are reduced by 10%. Bounty runes no longer spawn in the river. The amount these runes gave is now provided automatically over time through GPM.
Okay.
Bounty runes now spawn every 3 minutes in the respective jungle area. Total rune count reduced from 4 to 2. Bounty runes no longer disappear when new ones spawn. They now spawn alongside the previous one if it isn't picked up. Oh, interesting. At minute 0, bounty runes spawn in the jungle and at the power rune locations. 4 total at the start. So you don't wait. Let me read this part again. You don't get the initial gold. It's GPM.
Right. So you'll receive the same amount of gold over time.
Okay. And there's only, other than the beginning of the game, there's only 2 rune spots. And I guess we kind of looked at that earlier. I think they're just in, like, by the outpost area, if I'm not mistaken.
Wait, what do you mean? There's still only 2 rune spots, not just at the beginning. Oh, just kidding. I'm stupid. It says it right here. I minute 0. Never mind. Keep going. Keep going.
So that's interesting. So 2 bounty rune spots. So you're not constantly shuffling. And they spawn every 3 minutes. So now you have to understand math, Brax. You have to understand divisible by 3, which was harder than 5. I'll say that right now. It's harder than 5.
That is true.
It's 3, 6, 9, 12. So you just got to keep track of that constantly now. So it's even more constant, but there's only 2 on the map. So see, a lot of this stuff, I don't know how to feel until I experience it and see it over like a stretch of games. I really don't know what to think about this change.
Okay, so think of it this way. The bounty runes are a source of refilling bottles, right?
True.
So bottles in the off lane and bottles in the mid. I don't know who has the rights to this rune. Maybe this is something you'll have to fight over in your games. But now there is a new way to refill your bottle. At least I would call this more. This one is more reliable, right? It happens in quicker intervals and also, honestly, awkward intervals. 3 minutes is pretty strange in Dota.
Yeah.
But yeah, it gives you a method to refill bottles. There's overall more bounty rune gold, even though there is a 10% reduction after the initial set, just because there's only 2 runes and they spawn at every 3-minute intervals, and you're still getting passive GPM to make up for the other 2. And this also prevents you from getting super snowballed on in the mid game when the enemy takes 4 bounty runes for like 10 minutes, right? You completely lose when that kind of thing happens. There's less of a gap when you're losing out on all the bounty runes, which, I don't know, good or bad, whatever. That's just what it is, right? You're not going to get destroyed as badly anymore.
So if it's GPM, how does that affect Alchemist, I wonder?
So, I don't know. The thing about Alchemist is he really didn't gain that much gold from bounty runes to begin with. Like, it's been nerfed so many times.
Really? Like mid-game, it felt like he was getting a lot.
I mean, mid-game, certainly, but in the early games,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what,
Early
level
game was
1 Grievous
garbage.
Street is 1.5x? Like, it's honestly nothing.
Yeah, that's why you always take Acid Spray.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see how this works out. That's interesting.
He certainly is a tiny bit nerfed from that, right? He will gain a little bit less gold over the course of the game from that.
Probably for the best. Various cast ranges and movement speed, talent, item, abilities have been replaced or toned down. These are included in line with the item and hero sections below. Okay. Hero assist
right
gold.
Here,
yes.
Stop. This is strange, isn't it? They've just told you that this is their overall plan. They said that they're reducing cast ranges and movement speed, talents, items, abilities. What this means to me is they're stopping things from exceeding the max movement speed cap, right? Swift Blink, IO Tether. Isn't that strange? They just told you like a big guideline for the update. They don't usually do that.
That's true. What they did that for the stat reduction to talent. What was it? The 20% reduction or whatever the hell that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
that's true. This is kind of rare occurrence for sure. I guess we'll have to wait and see what the heroes say. Hero kill assist gold now adjusted based on the relative net worth difference between the 2 teams. For example, if your team is down 5,000 gold and the enemy has 50,000 total net worth, your assist gold will be worth 10% more. Okay.
More gold.
Yep. Heroes now start. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna make a comment. Like, we're only 5 minutes into this, and there's already been more sources of gold. Right, for people not hitting creeps, there's more bounty rune gold, there's passive gold GPM, and now there's more hero kill assist gold, because this was already in the game for hero kills. Now it's also for assists.
Oh, you think the bounty rune that's less gold, isn't it? They got rid of 2 bounty runes, and now you're getting gold per minute, so it's less influx immediately at least.
It is more gold overall with bounty runes spawning at a 3-minute interval.
That's true. It is more often though. Okay. Okay.
Oh, and with what we're just about to read as well.
Heroes now start the game with 1 TP scroll rather than 3. Heroes now gain 1 TP scroll on death. Wow. TP scroll cost increased from 90 to 100. Man, TP has been, that is the stonks of Dota right there. It's been up and down
Yep.
throughout the years. Interesting. You gain a TP scroll on death. That is very strange.
Isn't this funny? This is a real life parallel right here. TP scrolls getting more and more valuable. People that were the people that were hoarding toilet paper at the start of the pandemic, they knew it was up.
Fuck those people, honestly. God, pieces of garbage. Had to use like garbage toilet paper for like a month because I couldn't find anything good. Anyway,
The one ply.
that's really interesting. Do you like the idea of giving you a reward for dying?
I think that the game is becoming so I don't know if you've seen this, but Trent was been doing some, some time machine and Dota stuff where he's been casting games from like 2015, 2012. There was so much less gold back then. People were like, it was not uncommon for 5 positions to be 2K net worth the entire game.
Yeah, I remember an old school game where an Earthshaker was trying to get Blink, but he would die so often that he would have to buy, I forget what it was, some recipe. It's like some really cheap recipe.
They would buy TP scrolls and then they would sell them.
Yeah, so you buy whatever the fuck it is, you hoard it until you have 1,000,000 of them, and then you sell them for half cost eventually to be able to buy a Blink in one go. That's how bad the game was back then. It's come a long way, no doubt.
Yeah, now
Anyway,
there's a lot more forgiving ways to get gold, I guess.
But I guess like the way that I look at it is before it was kind of less in your face. It was more subtle. Now it's like, hey, you get a TP scroll when you die, which I don't know how to feel about that. Maybe I'm fine.
Right.
But it feels more in your face.
Maybe you're not that support who has 16 deaths commonly, so you don't understand the pain of this. But for a lot of people that do play support, this is a huge blessing, isn't it?
Yes, this is true. That is definitely true. Okay, heroes with 1.0 turn rate now have 0.9 turn rate. What the fuck? Why would you do this? Pango. Heroes with 0.5 turn rate now have 0.6 turn rate. Turn rate effect on time to turn improved by 20%. You know, we could just go to the next step and just get rid of turn rate. You know, Brax? I don't know how you feel about this. The old Han days. Those heroes felt great.
Pango isn't actually affected by this, by the way. Pango has a special case where you can cast anything in any direction, and it's instant. So you can blink dagger backwards without turning. You can swash in any direction without turning. So he's unaffected. You're good. Don't worry.
I did not know that. You can blink backwards?
Yes, you can. You can do everything without looking at whatever you're focusing with Pango.
Well, that's nice. Okay. Agony Scepter Roshan drop now requires you to activate it to consume it. It has no effect until consumed. Probably for the best. And Agony Shard now drops on the second Roshan kill, and only that one. Has same activation mechanics as a Scepter drop. Wow. Cool. So second Rosh is Aegis, Cheese, and Shard. Third is still Aegis, Cheese, and either Refresher or Ags. Huh. I like it.
More power to Roche. Cool. Yeah, I thought they would do this earlier, honestly, when shards were introduced to the game.
I thought they would get rid of Cheese, actually, and replace it with Shard, which maybe they might do. Who knows? Okay. Increase building teleportation range from 575 to 800. Affects TP scrolls and boots of travel. That's
huge, honestly, for competitive. Like
you can just go deep into the trees. Is that how that works?
Yeah, you can go deeper into the trees, so they'll have a much harder time destroying the trees. Or if you're a hero that has like the blink initiate or like the high catch with storm or something like that, you can TP literally behind them, and they won't be able to run away from you in time. So it's much more dangerous. It's a lot easier to defend towers with this change.
I see. Outpost teleport base channel time reduced from 6 to 5 seconds. Outpost vision reduced from 700 to 500. Okay. Captain's mode initial picking phase has changed again from first second to first second first. Okay, so that's what it used to be, right?
Yeah.
All right, so back to that.
This is probably the most boring change, but this is one of the most important changes for Captain's mode. This is how it used to be, and there used to be like a balance, because like if you're playing second pick, It changed the dynamic between the bans because you'd be able to ban and then pick out of the phase while also retaining last pick. So you had multiple spots in the draft where you had a really powerful pick, meaning like you'd be able to pick and then enter the bans immediately, so you could protect your pick. And now they just shuffled up the dynamic again. So, yep,
Yep.
very
Has
interesting. I'm sure
definitely
you
big
like to know
implications.
more about it, so I can keep going on if you'd like.
I would actually. Please keep
Nope,
going.
let's move on. Hoodwink
Okay.
added to captain's mode. Cool.
Yay! I'm guessing she got an Ags and a Shard, but we'll find out soon. Couriers no longer have vision when inside Roche Pit. Okay, that's
Good.
I guess. Wards can now be denied from full health by any allied player if the ward is placed in a spawn camp box. Yes, griefers! Get fucked. Ancient neutral creeps armor reduced by 1.
Increased,
Whatever.
not reduced.
What did I say? Oh.
You said reduced.
How did I say reduce? Whatever. Neutral, this is very early in the patch, too. Neutral items now fly towards the killing hero rather than spawning under the dead unit.
Good. How many times have you killed the camp, walked away from it, and then lost the item?
What does that mean, flies towards? I have to see that. It's like
So this
glides
thing's
towards
going
you.
to... There's no way you can miss it now. This thing's going to fly to your feet, probably.
That's good. Hero ban count from matchmaking increased by 6. Still chance-based.
What does that mean?
Wait, here. Increase. What was it at before?
I don't know. That's
I thought
why
it was.
I don't
I
understand.
thought everybody got a ban, and then it was like a percent chance based that it would go off or not. I thought it was 10. So it's actually like 16 now. I actually have no idea. All right, more bans. That's great. Buyback cost reduced from 200 plus net worth divided by 12 to 200 plus net worth divided by 13. I have a hard time visualizing that. I'm not a math major after all. Courier respawn time reduced from 60 plus 7 times level to 60 plus 6 times level. Okay, so it'll be up faster if I'm reading that correctly.
That's correct.
Backdoor protection damage reduction increased from 40% to 50%, and hero to hero item transfer range increased. Yeah, if you're trying to give somebody a neutral item, very annoying. You have to be right next to them as
They're
run away.
running away from you too, and they're so close. Then you're pinging them. That's annoying.
Yeah, very much so. Tree respawn interval reduced from 5 to 3 minutes. Ooh, very interesting. And the following build is no longer destroy trees. I think I need to look at a list of things that do destroy trees now, probably, based on this list.
Well, it's only the first 4.
This is going to be kind of annoying to relearn, actually. Wow, that's a lot of
It's only
abilities.
the first 4. Earth Splitter, Mortimer's
Oh,
Position,
shit.
Hammer, Macropyre.
All right, what am I reading here, then? Okay, so yeah, 4 abilities. Reduce the radius of tree destruction on the following abilities. Okay, should probably read this first. Pulling a purge here. Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
right.
Yeah, more power to the tree juke spots, right? They'll be up longer. They'll come back.
All right. Item updates. Tango. Shared tangos now expire after 40 seconds. Tango pooling has been removed from strategy phase UI. Wow. That's new.
So that means the princesses of Dota, aka the mid laners, now have to buy their own regen.
I do that anyway, so
handed to them.
That's fine with me. Nobody ever buys me freaking tangos. Expires after 40 seconds. Wow. Okay. Necronomicon removed. Wow.
Sad.
They finally deleted it, huh?
Very sad. As an offlane player who would never buy this imbalanced item anyways, this is a true tragedy of Dota right here. This is terrible. Ice Frogs clearly made a huge mistake.
What the hell? They couldn't balance it anymore, huh? Like they just gave up. That's so weird.
Maybe they thought it was an unhealthy game design to have summons that had the ability to be so strong anyways.
Did they remove? I guess we'll find out. The tier 5 item, Necro thingy, Book of the Dead. Satanic, cooldown reduced from 35 to 25. Unholy Rage can no longer be dispelled. Unholy Rage now applies a basic dispel on cast. Oh, that's a pretty big change.
This is a huge buff to this item.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, the fact that they got rid of the status resist, it was garbage, right?
Yeah, when they first did that, this item was pretty much dead, right? You'd never see it picked up anymore, but now this item looks insane again.
Yeah, looks good. Battle Fury, mana regen reduced from 3.25 to 2.75, and creep cleave damage reduced from 50 to 40%. Not as big of a nerf as I thought they would have, but a nerf nonetheless. Meteor Hammer, stun duration reduced from 1.75 to 1.5. Building damage per second increased from 50 to 60. Okay.
How is this item prevalent in your games? Like, to me, this is a complete meme item that very few heroes can manage to use effectively.
I mean, if talking about my friend Pop Tart there, for some reason he picks Dragon Knight mid and gets Meteor Hammer. So I don't know.
Does he own?
No, it's terrible.
Oh, all right.
But as long as I play carry Abaddon, it's fine. You know, I just win the game, so it's no big deal. Anyway, Abyssal Blade no longer has a blink effect, now a melee ability.
Oh, yes,
Wow.
thank you. This is massive.
Recipe cost reduced by 200. Total cost is 300 cheaper with Vit booster cost reduction change. That is a ginormous nerf.
Thank
Jesus.
God. I'm so tired of getting just gap closed on by a carry from super far range. Like, this was Enigma's worst nightmare. Because when it was melee, at least that you could be able to cover yourself with a hole. But you know, this is gonna nerf so many heroes. Like, when you think Ursa, when you think these melee strength heroes that really had issues locking on to targets, like, this is the best item. Troll Warlord, for example, too. This changes the carry meta for sure, because a lot of heroes were dependent on this item.
Yeah, I agree. That's pretty ginormous. Tranquil Boots movement speed reduced by 5, whatever. Yule's Scepter of Divinity cast range reduced by 25.
Another
Wind Waker.
cast range nerf for Yule's.
That's true. There's going to be a lot of these, right? Because of the changes that were addressed earlier. Wind Waker gets the same treatment. Boost of travel, movement speed reduced by 10. Travel 2 reduced by 10. Swift Blink no longer ignores movement speed limit. Okay, so
This item sucks, doesn't it?
To that.
No longer ignores movement speed limit. Like, that was such a big part of this item.
It was. Now it's just for attack speed, which it should be. I don't know if it's going to be lower. I feel like it would be here, but if they didn't nerf freaking Arcane Blink, I'm going to be pretty angry. That thing is beyond broken.
Is it? This item is extremely mediocre, in my opinion.
What?
What is
Arcane
it? What is it good
Blink?
on? Yeah, Arcane. What is it good on?
Well, just because you're playing competitive games where these heroes aren't picked. The heroes in my pubs are picked.
What
Shadow Fiend? Shadow Fiend?
Okay. Shadow Fiend, I can agree with that one. That one's good.
It's way too good. And I can't think of anything right now. Okay, my issue with the item is the Arcane Blink is better on most strength heroes than the Overwhelming Blink is. That's the problem. Like, if I was Centaur getting a freaking Blink, upgrading it, I would want Arcane Blink, not Overwhelming Blink, every time.
Okay.
So pick any hero with an initiation. Axe as well. Arcane Blink.
But these are terrible Dota items to buy on these heroes. They cost way too much.
They're luxury. And in games that I play that go 60 minutes, Brax, again, you're basing this off of your games.
Yeah,
your games
are based off my experience, right?
The top 0.1% right there, okay? Anyway, moving on. Aetherland's cast range reduced as well. Octarine, same treatment. Sentry Ward cost reduced from 75 to 50, okay? True Sight Radius decreased by 100.
So you have tons of more gold accessible for 5 positions, and Sentry Wards are cheaper, but the True Sight Radius reduction, you know, it's only 100, but it does change stuff with the neutral camps. Like, you have to place them in the center of the camp and then sit there and deny your ward for 6 minutes to cover the entire area.
Yeah, I think I'm fine with this overall, though. I mean, eventually the Sentry Wards will be free. I think we can all agree on that. I don't know. Why not just jump the gun on that? Manta style melee illusions incoming damage reduced by 50%, so they take less damage. Range illusions incoming damage reduced by 100% to match the melee. Okay. Cooldown for range heroes reduced from 45 to 30. So there's no longer a benefit, if I'm not mistaken, from being a melee or range. Getting
a damage benefit that melee heroes still have over range heroes.
Okay, so they kept the damage. Okay. Do you think this makes a difference? Like, or will range heroes buy this more often because of this?
So if Sange and Yasha gets nerfed, then people might still buy this item. But if Sange and Yasha is the exact same as last patch, then this item should be like 1,000 gold cheaper in comparison to SNY. Honestly, SNY is way too good. Yeah. But it's a pretty big buff. The cooldown is massive for sure.
All right, Helm of Iron Will, armor increased by 1. Armlet of Mordigian, armor increased by 1. And the active health drain reduced by 10. So that makes it better, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Energy booster is down to 800 from 900 gold. Vit booster is down 100 as well. Heart of Tarask cost increased by 400. Aether lens cost increased by 100. Aeon disc increased by 100. BKB cooldown increased by 5, and the duration rescaled. Ooh, no longer 10-second BKB, so it's a 9876. So only 4 uses now. 6-second. I mean, I think this is overall a buff for the item. For the duration portion, at least. Obviously, the cooldown. But isn't the cooldown based off the time?
No, it used to be like that a long time ago.
Oh, it's a fixed cooldown.
Yeah, shows you haven't bought this item very recently, very often.
That's very accurate, actually. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Clarity duration reduced from 30 to 25. Okay.
Significant for sure.
Yeah, so that reduces the mana overall from 180 to 150. I mean, clarities were way too good. And just backpack them all game.
Yeah.
Bottle cost increased by 50. Mana regen reduced by 10. And HP regen reduced by 10. So bottle is worse, costs more, but you can more reliably fill it up in the first couple minutes and then even throughout the game because of the bounty rune changes every 3 minutes.
Right. I would say despite these nerfs, it's probably more valuable.
Yeah, I agree. Hedris now provides 0.5 HP regen to the holder. Ring of Basilius mana regen aura reduced by 0.3 and now provides 0.6 mana regen to the holder. Buckler now provides 1 armor to the holder. Recipe cost increased by 50. Pipe of Insight, HP regen aura increased from 2 to 2.5. Am I the only one that thinks this item's garbage? It costs 1650 if I'm not mistaken.
This is one of the most worthless items in Dota at the moment, sadly.
Okay, so it remains that way. Nothing's changed.
Correct.
Is it mostly the cost? Like the cost just seems inordinate. Like it just feels like it's never worth it almost.
Yeah, it is way too expensive.
Mech HP regen aura increased from 2 to 2.5. Veil mana regen aura increased from 1.5 to 1.75. Vlad's mana regen aura increased from 1.4 to 1.75, and recipe cost reduced from 600 to 500. Total cost reduction is only 50 gold. Force Staff Ring of Regen replaced with Fluffy Hat. I was wondering if they're going to implement more of this stuff. I'm wondering if Falcon Blade gets upgraded now. Ring of Regen replaced with Fluffy Hat, so 150 health is given instead of regen, and recipe cost reduced by 50, which overall comes out to only a 25 gold increase. Hurricane Pike now has 200 health instead of 2.5 HP regen, and int increased by 2. Diffusal Blade, mana break, damage per mana burned increased from 80% to 100%, and mana break on melee illusions reduced from 16 to 12. Agility increased by 4, int increased by 2. This feels like it's a little bit worse on the illusion. I mean, is it worse though?
So what this is the you do the exact same amount of damage from the mana break, but you burn mana slower.
I see.
And then in return, you have some higher stats on it. It's really whatever, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, illusion heroes are the worst, so for the best. Solar Crest recipe changed to Medallion, Crown, Windlace, and a 900 gold recipe, which makes it 1150 cheaper. So what are the nerfs? Armor reduced by 2, all stats reduced by 5. The active was called Shine. Interesting.
Really? I didn't know that.
What a god-awful name. Shine active armor reduced by 2, and the attack speed addition/removal reduced by 15. This feels
extremely nice buff.
I was going to say, even though these stats are nerfed, it's so much cheaper that this seems like a buff to me, right?
This is a massive buff. Now it's Crown and Windlace in a 900 recipe instead of having this ugly ultimate orb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Certainly a buff.
Vanguard block chance increased by 10%. Abyssal Blade gets the same treatment, and Crimson Guard as well. Slippers of Agility reduced by... Man, they have a lot of minor stuff. Slippers of Agility Gauntlets of Strength and Mantle of Intelligence all reduced by 5 gold. Bracer HP regen increased from 0.75 to 1. Do people still buy this item?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad.
The magic resist being gone makes it feel so much worse for me personally. I don't know how it is for higher level play though. SNY, which is an amazing item. Attack speed reduced by 4. Which
oh my god, that's it?
Yasha Kaya.
This item is still the single best item in the game. I can't believe it's not more nerfed. This
The
is
status
upsetting.
resist is insane. Yasha Kaya gets the same treatment on the attack speed. Kaya itself, mana regen amp, increased by 26%, over double what it had before. And basically the same treatment for Kaya Sange and Yasha Kaya. 20% additions to the mana regen amp. Okay.
This is bullshit. Dude, Sange and Yasha is not nerfed. It's the same item. This is like okay, if Necrobook is so problematic it has to be removed from the game, this is the next item on the list.
Yeah, but you could nerf the numbers on this and it would obviously work as opposed to removing the item. I agree.
Attacks.
Yeah, it's a little odd. That's pretty much nothing.
Oh my god. All right.
I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm a big SNY holder myself, you know?
Yeah,
So.
that's the issue. I'm not, so this is why I'm upset.
That's true. Offlaners don't really get to buy SNY too often. Dragonlance agility increased by 2. Mech mana cost reduced by 100. Huge buff to mech. From 200 to 100 mana cost. Holy shit, that's insane. Mage Slayer recipe reduced by 200. That's really all they did? Really? This item, I want this item to be good, but it's garbage.
How strange, right? Expecting something big to make this item super viable. Just minus 200 gold.
I mean, would this item be good if the recipe was free?
I don't know if it'd be good, but it would have a place for sure.
Yeah, so they're just doing incremental changes. And I mean, before TI, this could be 200 gold. I wouldn't be surprised. Blade Mail recipe cost reduced by 100. Echo Saber strength increase from 12 to 15. I was a little sad here, or I'm a little sad that Echo Saber isn't built into anything still. I love this item. What do you think about Echo Saber being part of... Wait, what item was I thinking that should be a part of? It used to be part of Lothar's. Shit, I'm forgetting. Maybe I'll remember as we go down.
Halberd.
No, not Halberd.
Okay, I give up.
Helm of the Dominator, bounty reduced from 200 to 100. Wait, what does that mean, bounty? I mean, from killing the creep.
Yeah.
Okay. Renamed from Helm of the Dominator 2 to Helm of the Overlord. And added to the shop UI as an independent item.
That's a significant buff right there. Helm of the Overlord. HOTO.
Oh. Yeah, I was thinking Echo Saber should be part of... Was it Scotty? Maybe it was... No, it wasn't Scotty. Anyway, renamed from Helm of the Dominator 2 to Helm of the Overlord and added to blah, blah, blah. Can now dominate up to 2 units, 150 bounty. I'm not going to lie, Brax. I literally don't know what Helm of the Dominator 2 did. I can't remember.
It lets you take Ancient Creeps.
Okay, so now you can take 2 Ancient Creeps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does it bother you that, I guess they're not related anymore necessarily, but that the icon just looks so much different than its counterpart?
Problem to me is that this thing looks to the left while Helm of the Dominator looks to the right. It's like they're not on the same side. They're not united. They're against each other.
Yeah, I agree. It's god-awful. So these are 2 separate items. You can't upgrade anymore.
Not correct. This is the upgrade to the item.
But it's just renamed.
Yes. Now instead of HOTD, this is HOTO.
Hoto? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Shadowblade cooldown reduced from... Oh, Mjolnir. That's what I was thinking. What do you think about Echo Saber instead of Moonshard? Not Moonshard. Hyperstone is an Echo Saber. Makes it worse on range, though. That's the only downside, because you don't get the double hit.
Most heroes that buy... I don't know. I can't think of heroes it'd be good on. What an awkward combination of items.
It's not awkward. It's a good idea. Ice Frog, do it. Okay. Shadowblade cooldown reduced by 3. Silver Edge mana regen increased by 1, and int bonus increased by 5. Okay, whatever. Divine Rapier no longer provides True Strike, and damage has been increased by 50. So it's back to the old Divine Rapier, which we'll likely very seldomly see as a result. I think the True Strike was a huge part of the item. Thoughts?
Yeah, the True Strike was a huge reason why people bought this item. They would purchase it in place of MKB in the late game, because MKB was recently super nerfed compared to what it once used to be. Yeah, you'll certainly see a lot less rapiers. This item was really good because of the True Strike.
Yeah.
It does give 50 more damage now, but I don't know. It just looks bad, honestly. Like, you'd sit there in the late game and think, do I want rapier or MKB, and it'd pretty much always be rapier.
Yeah. Now not the case. And then MKB on the other side, proc chance increased from 75% to 80%. This is wrong, right? That's not what that means. I think it means True Strike increased, right?
True Strike is the proc.
What about the MKB proc itself? The extra
They're
damage.
the same thing now.
Well, you're saying that proc 75% of the time before?
Yes.
Holy shit. I
You
buy
only
this
have
item all the time. I didn't even know that.
100% of the time.
Good lord. What the hell? Okay. Mjolnir, chain lightning damage increased by 10. Static charge damage increased by 25. Good. Good, clean item. Soul Ring, recipe cost reduced from 275 to 225. So 50 decrease. Quelling Blade bonus damage reduced from 13 to 12.
Okay. Waiting for this item to be removed from the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be really sad when that happens because it's an auto buy for me. Just can't last hit without it.
This thing used to be a lot more damage back in the day.
Yeah, I agree. Poison attack now has True Strike for Witchblade.
Okay.
That's cool. So that's every X amount. What is it?
Yeah.
5-6 second cooldown?
I think it's longer.
Either way. All right, that's a good addition. It's an item. I don't know how you feel. I never see this item in games.
It's a good item. It's just awkward to purchase.
Shiva's Guard, cooldown reduced from 30 to 27. Urn of Shadows, mana regen reduced from 1.5 to 1.4. I'm actually surprised they're doing so many like minor changes. This is more than usual. Scythe, cooldown reduced by 2. Talisman, cost reduced by 100. Veil of Discord, cast range increased by 200. Cooldown reduced by 3.
Okay. 3
right,
veil
whatever.
buffs, right? There's the mana regen buff too. That's not listed here. It's listed above.
Yeah, true. Holy Locket, passive charge regeneration time reduced from 15 to 10. Still have yet to see this item in the game, although it doesn't seem like it's that bad. But I don't know. Maybe it's a little too expensive.
Yep. It's just in the place of Glimmer, Cape, and Force Staff for supports, right? It's hard to justify that.
That is true. Raindrops minimum damage threshold increased from 50 to 75. Wind Waker cooldown reduced from 23 to 18. I never get to see Wind Waker, although the item seems awesome, especially against Puck.
It's super cool.
Dagon cast range increased by 100 at all levels, and the recipe cost reduced by 50. Rod of Atos projectile speed increased by 250. That's a nice quality of life for Rod of Atos users. Gleipnir gets the same treatment. Bloodthorn recipe cost reduced by 200. Mangoes can now be sold. Why is that important?
I don't know.
Why did they even get rid of the selling to begin with originally? Smoke of Deceit now dispelled by the fountain. So no more techies shenanigans, I guess. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff you could do in the fountain.
So the most recent usage I saw of this was one of my Enigma smoked into the enemy fountain to black hole a morphling that was respawning so that the ancient apparitional would hit as soon as he spawned.
Wow.
No longer possible.
That's so stupid. I feel like the fountain needs to be buffed like a lot, but done with this. Oh no! Neutral item, Royal Jelly removed. No! Oh, I loved royal jelly.
I never got to eat this item anyway, so I'm glad it's gone.
I can understand that, but that's sad. Broom handle damage increased by 2. Ocean Heart River HP mana regen increased from 8/4 to 10/5.
So
Chipped
this is what it was
vest.
before.
Oh, was it originally this?
Yeah.
Really? I don't remember that. Huh. Chipped vest health regen increased by 1.5 and return damage increased by 2 on melee, 3 on ranged.
So this item was the worst neutral item when it first got released, and now it's probably the best tier 1 neutral item.
Yeah, I always hated getting stuck with this thing, even though I was always a hero that would kind of want it. If you're doing like ancients, super helpful. But yeah, 5 regen, super nice. Trusty Shovel now drops an enchanted mango instead of a teepee scroll. Ooh, that's nice. Wait, can you sell the enchanted mango? Wait, could you sell the health cells before? I guess
You
so.
couldn't sell the cells.
Could not?
Could not.
Oh,
So I'm assuming that you cannot sell this mango either.
I see.
But there is some abuse in Dota where if you have a sellable item, then you stack it with something, it becomes sellable. So maybe through that abuse, it's sellable. I don't know.
Imp Claw damage increased by 2. Philosopher's Stone, you get 10 GPM extra. Pupil's Gift increased by 1 stat for your secondary attributes. Grove Bow magic resistance reduction increased from 12% to 15%. That's one surprising. I thought this one was, I guess it's situational. I just play Viper a lot, and it feels really good.
Which one?
It's not even the Grove Bow.
Oh, yeah, it's just a situational one, right? It's good for sure, just situational.
Bullwhip movement speed change reduced from 20% to 18%, and cooldown reduced by 1. Mana regen reduced by 0.5. Okay, yeah, this needed a slight nerf. This one, I'm expecting a nerf. Quicksilver Amulet felt amazing. Passive movement speed reduced by 1%. Active movement speed reduced by 1%. Active attack speed increased by 5. Projectile attack animation increased by 10%. Okay, so a little bit of both.
Yep, just following suit with their movement speed power creep getting nerfed, right?
True. Mindbreaker, the best neutral item for a Pangolier player. Silence duration increased by 0.25 and cooldown reduced by 3. Very nice. Very nice. Psychic Headband intelligence bonus increased by 4%. Elven Tunic movement speed reduced by 1%. Spider Legs reduced by 2% movement speed.
Oh my god, this item's still in the game.
I mean, the fact that you can replace your boots, that's the biggest deal. It's not the item itself, right?
I mean, it is the item itself too. Like carry heroes, it always goes to the carry hero first of all, so I already have an increased amount of hatred for it. But people are walking up and down cliffs in team fights, and you can't chase them. Or if you're playing Furion and the carry randomly gets spider legs, you're just screwed. Like the whole game
True.
sucks.
Yeah, no doubt. Paladin Sword now provides 8% spell lifesteal. Actually, a buff to Paladin Sword. Wow. Interesting. So I feel the same way about like the spider legs type. I mean, there's only one, right? Until you get to till tier 5s, but being able to just replace items like Paladin Sword, in addition to the tier 1 item that gives you lifesteal, whatever that's called,
Right,
the
possessed
mask,
mask.
like they feel too good to me. Because
I agree. I thought that so to me, Paladin Sword is acceptable as a tier 3 item. I thought Spider Leg should be at least a tier 4 item. And the mask should also be moved up a tier. And I thought the Fairy Trinket should also be moved up a tier.
yeah, actually, I forgot about that item. I'm surprised that was not touched. But yeah, being able to just not have to buy lifesteal on certain heroes, like a PA or something.
Yeah, you get it on
Pretty
Earth
freaking good.
Fire Troll and you hit the jungle. Morphling as well. These heroes
Yep.
are way too good at using it.
Telescope, attack and cast range reduced by 10. Illusion Escape, illusion bonus damage reduced by 2%. Illusion bonus damage.
Oh boy, don't tell me you didn't know that Illusion Escape made your summons and illusions stronger.
No, I did not know that. You're saying you're not just the illusion that you get from Illusion Escape. I mean, I never use this item because I never play those heroes.
It passively makes all your summons and illusions do more damage.
Why?
Works on Lone Druid's Bear as well.
Why?
You're
Why?
the master of the illusions. You're the you've leveled up your knowledge of this stuff.
I feel like just getting a free manta essentially is enough. Just
well, that's
for
not how
certain
Dota
heroes.
works sometimes things don't make sense. We've got to add random things in it, like Spell Prism giving all stats. Why does this give all stats?
And it gives less now. It's not double digits. Yeah, this
Sure.
feels like this item is crazy. Like, oh, I get 12 stats as well. Excellent. So now it's 6 instead of 12. So that's good. Flicker, movement speed reduced by 5. Now always goes in a random forward direction with a random distance between 200 and 600. That
This is
feels
cool.
way better, though, right?
Yes, I
It's a
think this
huge
is
buff.
much better, right? You can turn when people are going on you now and use this to, close the dist or to get away. You can also use it to help initiate as well. You can use it to. You can always go over a hill using this, right? You can walk up next to it and face the
Yeah,
hill.
true.
There's a lot more uses for it for sure.
I'm surprised they did this because the fact that it dispels on use makes this crazy, and kind of the downside of using it was the direction that you go. You don't know where the hell you're gonna go.
Right, there was some downsides to using it, right?
But now this feels like it's way too good. I'm very surprised.
Well,
This is an
it might be
insane
way
item
too
now.
good, or it might be in the same level of the rest of these items. Who knows?
That's true. I mean, Spell Prism's too good, it feels like, as well, anyway. But the Leveler now grants 5 armor and attack speed reduced from 60 to 50. And this is a nice change because a lot of times this is like a backpack item. You don't really want it depending on the hero you're playing, but if you're going for the buildings, then it feels better.
Right.
Otherwise, meh.
The items that give, purely offensive capabilities don't really feel that good, to be honest. Like these, even in normal items, right? Your Sandranyasha, Scotties, Butterflies, like these are the high tier items compared to your MKBs and Datalists, right? Just because of the hybrid stats they give you.
Yeah.
Heroes are super tanky, and this helps a little bit for sure.
Ninja Gear movement speed reduced from 30 to 25, and agility increased by 4. Okay. Trickster Cloak no longer interrupts channeling abilities. My friend was telling me that he was shocked that this canceled his CM ult and he couldn't figure out what was happening. And I was like, yeah, that shouldn't cancel it. That's weird. Active now can be dispelled. So that means you can dispel the invisibility. Is that all that means?
Yes.
Okay. Invisibility now provides phase movement and now has a 0.2 second fade time. So it's no longer instant.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. This item was pretty powerful. It was definitely on the upper side of this tier for sure.
It still
And
provides amazing magic resist and is it evasion as well?
Yeah.
It's both.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Penta Edge Sword melee attack range increased by 20 and maim chance increased by 5%. Very nice.
This was the worst tier whatever item this is.
4.
Tier 4 item, yeah. So, I don't know. Still really strange.
Really? 100 damage seems pretty good. And a maim.
100 damage.
Hmm?
You just said 100 damage.
Or 100 attack. Wait, it gives how much damage again? 40 damage.
Mm-hmm.
40 damage, 100 extra range, which you're going to be giving this on your melee carry anyway. And they get a 25% chance to slow.
Yes.
Seems decent at the very least. I don't think it's garbage by any means.
In comparison to other items, I would call this one like probably bottom 2.
Okay, fair enough. All right, tier 5 items. My specialty, Ex Machina, cooldown reduced by 5. So this is the one that reduced. It's basically a refresher for your items.
Yeah, and it gives you 20 armor.
Yeah, 20 armor for some reason. Force Boots now also provides 30 HP regen. That's interesting. Wait, they deleted the other one, right?
Yeah, the tree walking boots.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Force Boots are insane. I'm surprised this was buffed at all. It dispels. It gives you basically a force staff on yourself. And it allows you to not have boots in your fucking inventory. That's already OP in my opinion, but HP regen in addition. So that's surprising. I think this item is really good. Seer Stone continues to get changes. Reveal cooldown reduced by 10. Reveal now grants true sight at the destination, and reveal duration increased from 5 to 6. So it's really strange. Maybe it's just a Pog thing, but this item in Pog is like bonkers, like ridiculously good on.
Why? Because of the cast range?
Yeah, the cast range. Literally, that was it. And then they've been buffing it ever since, and I've been surprised. But All the pros think it's not that good, which surprises me. Do you think it's good right now?
I mean, like, objectively, this is a good item, but in comparison to the rest of these items on your supports, it's probably, you know, on the low end.
Book of the Dead cooldown reduced by 10 and units damage increased by 25%. And remember, Necro doesn't even
So
exist anymore.
this is how imbalanced Necrobook is, right? It had to be only accessible through the highest tier of neutral item.
So this spawns, is it 2 or 3 Necro books?
It's 2.
2. And they're stronger than Necro books, obviously, but okay. Fair enough. And Book of Shadows cooldown reduced from 15 to 8. Wow. That is a massive reduction.
This is the best neutral item outside of Mirror Shield.
Outside of, yeah, Mirror Shield probably the best. Really? You think it's better than Fallen Sky?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I
This
think
is a Dark Willow W on a teammate or enemy.
right, but it
So
doesn't make them. Yeah, they can still take damage, but it has to be like AoE. It's not directed.
Right. So this is a saves imbalance the later the game goes, or truly imbalanced because it changes the way people can fight. And lowering the cooldown on this is insane.
Yeah,
It's
I
one of
think.
those things where, like, it's direct combat power, but it changes. It's like if you're able to astral someone, you're able to purchase an astral or shadow demon disruption through an item. This is it.
Yeah, I could see at high levels of play that this item would be insanely good. At my level of play, this is pretty. Nobody knows how to use this shit.
Right.
And I would say, if there is a sniper, a viper, a drow, some hero that's ranged, that's attacking hard, Ballista is the best neutral item you can get. It's broken. Okay. On to heroes. Mr. Abaddon. Base health regen increased by 0.5. Shard upgrade now also reduces miscoil and aphotic shield cooldown by 1. Wow. Dude, the shard was good before. I thought it was good, at least. So that's surprising.
It was certainly underrated by a lot of people, but I don't know. I would still say I'd say it was better than expected, but still not very powerful.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, increase the slow of your pass. You know what? You can look it up. There's too many notes to.
What hero are you talking about?
Huh?
What hero are you talking about?
Abaddon.
Oh, so Abaddon. Yeah, his shard made it so when you used your shield, it applied a stack of your pass to everything, right?
Right, but it also worked on your miscoil and it increased the base slow of your original Avernus. So
I see.
it's
Yeah,
good.
not a bad buff to Abaddon.
Miscoil backswing reduced by whatever the fuck that percentage, 0.27, if my math is correct. Heal / damage rescaled to be 5 at the highest level, 5 more, that is. Self damage is now 50% of the values instead of fixed numbers. Wait, what? Self
I
damage
forgot
now.
what it was before, so it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah. Okay. Aphotic Shield backswing reduced as well. Mana cost increased by 15 at the highest level. And borrowed time scepter duration increased by an additional second. Although,
Okay.
wait, the scepter was the scepter wasn't the damage reduction thing anymore, right? It's the miscoil heals people.
Yeah, you start miscalling people after they take X amount of damage.
Yeah. Okay. Level 15 talent, 50 miscoil heal damage to 55. Additional armor at 20 and 25 talent. The AoE of the miscoil is up by 75. So whatever. Okay.
All right. Same exact hero, except Abaddon now has 0.5 more health regen.
Abaddon. Yep. Mm-hmm. You really like saying Abaddon, huh? You like saying it correctly? You think you're better than me?
That's just his name.
Okay. Alchemist, Grievel's Greed, gold bonus cap reduced to basically 3 less than it was before.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, we've seen this a lot over the years, going back and forth with
Yeah,
Mr.
this is the
Grievel's Greed.
most nerfed alchemist ability, right? It's always something minor like this where he loses, one level of it basically.
AA, Ice Vortex mana cost reduction by 15 at the highest level. So anytime I'm going to say reduction, it's just going to be at the highest level. Okay, just so you guys know.
Okay.
Cooldown increased from 4 to a scaling version that goes down to 4. So it starts off worse. Chilling Touch Scepter now reduces mana cost by 50%.
So to me, this second mind, the cooldown increase is like Ice Frog's way of telling you level this ability. Because like, what a pointless change, right?
Wait, which one? Sorry.
The Ice Vortex cooldown increase
Oh,
from 4 seconds to have it
yeah.
scaling. It's just Ice Frog's way of telling you this is the ability to level after, at some point. Make sure you prioritize this ability.
Right. So it's funny. The Scepter. I know that a lot of AAs don't end up getting Scepter because it's a right-click item.
Change for Pog.
Yeah, for pockets, we might have to nerf this. Actually, it's way too good already. So, I feel like eventually somebody has to try AA mid again in a competitive game, and it could be viable. Like Dendy tried it, was not good, but someday it'll come back. Anti-Mage reworked Shard upgrade now causes Blink to have 300 range and reduces cooldown by 2. Wasn't that the weird illusion one before? What did it do before?
I don't even know what it did before, I'll be honest.
Okay, well, either way, now it's just like a very... This is actually a really boring shard, but it's probably decent. I mean, of course, it's only 1,400 gold for Anti-Mage, so it has to be good. Mana cost rescaled to be 25 at the highest level. Blink Fragment Scepter illusion incoming damage reduced by 50%. And the illusion outgoing damage increased by 15%. So this is his Agony Scepter. God, this is the one of the few I don't know. It's like you blink and you get... Is that the one you blink and you get an illusion?
That's a talent.
Let me just click on him. Oh my god. Anti-Mage. Blinks an illusion at the target enemy, that's right, or location, and attacks them for 7 seconds. Counterspell is replicated on the blink fragment illusion. Okay. Oh no, I have to come all the way back. Jesus. Makes it very easy. Okay, I can't scroll. Hello, are you there? Brax?
Hello?
Hi. Just testing. My mouse wheel stopped working, so this is going to be really annoying now. What the hell? Valve, why do you do this to me? Okay, so Mana Void Blink. Okay, talents. 15 talent change from 300 blink cast range to 0.6% max mana burn. And 20 talent change from -2 second blink cooldown to +1 second Mana Void stun. Oh, so we have that back in the fray again. Interesting.
So basically they removed 2 talents and put it on the shard. Got the Wraith King treatment.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. 0.6% mana, max mana. That's hard to even visualize, but sounds annoying. Okay. Arc Warden Shard magic resistance increased by 20% for some reason. And Shard now also slows enemies by 20%. Thank you for adding this into the game. This hero, I would love to see deleted, by the way.
I would like to see this hero made into a support.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me, but you need to do a lot to make that a reality, I think. Level 10 talent reduced the flux cast range by 25, and the HP at 10 talent is increased by 25. So whatever.
Yep,
so his shard is just good. Yeah. Okay, one of my favorite heroes, Axe. Attack point reduced from 0.5 to 0.4. That's a good thing, right?
Yes, that is a good thing.
Good. Scepter upgrade cooldown reduction increased from 2 to 3. Great. Counter Helix Shard now also increases proc chance by 10%. Dude. All right. Let me tell you the build here. First of all, these don't necessarily synergize directly, but the Agony Scepter is you blink in. You don't have to blink in, whatever. The Agony Scepter is anytime you call, it applies Battle Hunger to everybody around you, okay? Which is great. And it reduces their armor by 7, each of them, and gives it to you. So it's really good for minus armor strats. And now it's even better with the more cooldown reduction. And the Shard already gave you the attacking procs counter helix, and it was on an independent cooldown, and it gives you attack speed on top of that. Now, extra 10% proc. Brax.
Wow, this might be an imbalanced hero.
So, am I reading this right? That means both counter helixes get 10% increase, right? Defensively and offensively.
That's what I think.
Yeah. That sounds broken. Dude, this hero. All right, this is the first hero I'm playing. 100%. Okay, 10 talent reduced. You don't seem very impressed with my build, by the way.
Just probably works differently for you than it does for me.
Yeah, that's true. All right, mana regen talent nerfed to slight tad. 10 talent. Oh, that's 25 attack
Don't
speed is now 9 strength.
gives you attack speed.
That's a nerf. Dag nabbit. That hurts me. That 25 talent, 25 attack speed was great. All right. Bane reworked shard upgrade causes Brain Sap to become a 550 target AoE spell. Wow.
Okay.
Secondary units heal for 25%.
So
Reworked.
let me tell you why this is actually good.
Mm-hmm.
Bane is a single target hero. You're heavily countered by illusion heroes like PL. If you ever played this one, it's completely hopeless for Bane.
Yeah, true.
Brain Sap heals you for the damage done. So when you Brain Sap illusions, obviously illusions take a lot more damage than regular heroes. You'll heal a shit ton. You'll probably full heal off illusion heroes now.
That sounds good, but how much damage are you actually doing to them? You still do full damage then.
What do you mean?
You heal for less, right?
Yeah, it's just the secondary units heal for 25%.
All right, that's a huge upgrade then. Yeah, I like it. That's a very elegant way to give Bane some play against illusions. Also, reworked Scepter upgrade reduces Fiend's Grip cooldown by 45 seconds and causes Fiend's Grip to create 2 uncontrollable illusions that channel Fiend's Grip on the target. Illusions take 700% damage. This was his... So, wait. What was his old shard? Do you remember?
It was when you used Fiend's Grip, an uncontrollable illusion spawn that was also channeling Fiend's Grip.
Okay, so what was his old axe?
His old axe was Brain Sap.
Oh, the
having
cooldown.
1.5 second cooldown or something.
Yeah, okay. So they made his shard into his axe. His shard was garbage, by the way, because you could tell which illusion was real. So now you get 2 illusions. So you have to stun 3 targets to stop Fiend's Grip.
Right. If Bane somehow finishes the scepter.
Right, that's the big... I mean, hey, you got the shard, you can farm now, bro. You know? Easy.
That's true. That's a big deal.
Okay. Brain Sap backswing has been reduced. Enfeeble attack damage reduction increased by 5%. Health restoration reduction increased by 5%. Cooldown rescaled by 1 reduction. Cast range reduced from 1100 to scaling up to 1100. And duration increased from 8 to scaling up to 11. So, okay. Bane, very boring hero, but a little less boring now, I suppose. His 15 talent, 12% spell amp has been changed to minus 3 second brain sap cooldown, and 15 talent changed from 100 cast range to 5% Fiend's Grip max mana drain. Very nice. Okay.
That's sad. We lost the cast range talent. I guess we should expect most supports to lose their cast range talents.
Yeah, this is true. All right, this is one of your favorite heroes. I see you play this hero all the time, sadly. Batrider has his shard reworked. Now causes Flame Break to have 2 charges and apply a sticky napalm charge on impact. What was his old shard?
His old shard was that you'd be able to lasso teammates, and they'd have 70% damage reduction with the 20-second lasso cooldown. So if you had Ags with that, you could lasso your teammate for a super short lasso cooldown and lasso an enemy.
I've seen you do that in a tournament, actually, but it was more for fun. It didn't actually help in any way. It was to meme.
Fun is important.
I'm kind of sad to see this gone. What do you think of this new one?
Sounds really bad.
Yeah, it doesn't sound interesting, really.
It sounds much less interesting and objectively worse in terms of power, especially with the next thing.
Flame Break backswing reduced. The range has been reduced by 200, and debuff no longer stacks with multiple instances, but instead adds to the duration. So,
yeah. So before you would double Flame Break somebody into your lasso, and they would actually take like 2,000 damage in lasso.
Okay. Well, Flaming Lasso backswing reduced and damage per second increased by 15. And the 10 talent, 4 armor becomes 6, and 20 talent, 2 flame break charges now deleted, obviously, because of the shard addition, and is now 20% magic resist. Boring. Okay. Beastmaster, this is another hero that you main, as they say. Base armor increased by 1. Dive bomb shard, so that's the controllable hawk, no longer grants free hawk control. Oh my god. All right, never mind. That is a huge nerf. Now has 1200 cast range. Stun duration increased to 2 seconds. Damage increased by 75. Can now target couriers for
Cool.
some reason. And Hawk Shard also lowers the cooldown by 15 seconds. Okay. Is this overall a buff, or I feel like
Yeah, one armor is certainly a buff. The shard is an overall nerf. Controlling hawks was imbalanced. Now they give it some more offensive capability, but I don't know. I mean, it's still weird. The biggest nerf is obviously Necrobook being removed.
right?
This hero can't really function without it, honestly.
That's very sad. Wild Axe's Scepter now also increases damage by 40, and mana cost reduced from 80 to 65. Primal Roar movement speed duration increased from 3 to scaling up to 4 now. You know what? Since this is such a long patch, I feel like going through every single talent just feels arduous. So we'll go over ones that maybe are the interesting ones. So 15 talent, 6 armor change to 300 health, Beastmaster controlled. That's a weird text, but I understand what it means. That's good.
That was 25 talent.
Oh, so that one was changed to 4% Wild Axe's damage amp. So the Agony Scepter becomes kind of crazy now again after the nerfs.
Right. Now you have some real late game magic damage builds, right, with the Aghanim Scepter, maybe Sanj and Kaya stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool, but this hero is so nerfed in the other aspects of the game that it looks really bad, honestly. This looks like a really terrible Dota hero at the moment.
But his 20 talent is minus 35-second Primal Roar cooldown now, which is
That is
already
true.
not that long of a cooldown. So
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, some of his late game stuff is better than it was before, but without Necrobook, I don't really see how you can get there.
Yeah.
Or at least like fill that gap.
All right. Bloodseeker. Blood Rage backswing reduced, and Rupture now deals 10% of the target's current health as damage on cast. Boy, they just can't make up their mind on this spell. How many times have we seen this before?
So many changes.
Jeez. Damage overall is reduced by 5%, but the fact that it deals damage immediately, pretty big deal. I mean, that's when it used to be good back in the day, right? So, yeah, those are the main ones. So again, I'm just gonna skip talents that they're kind of whatever.
These talents are so meaningless. You know, they're 1 armor, 10 health, 10 damage.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter.
Bounty Hunter reworked Shard. Shadowwalk now grants you 40% reduced incoming damage while invisible. Attacking out of invisibility stuns the target for 1 second. Lowers cooldown by 5 seconds.
This is cool.
Wow.
So you know with Bounty Hunter, right? The lower levels of invis have longer fade times, so you can actually hit them like as you're going invis for the slow. I wonder if that counts for the stun. Can you do that to start the stun and then attack again afterwards to chain stun off of it?
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
It does say attacking out of invisibility though, so maybe that direct wording means only when you break it.
I'm trying to understand something. So you get 40% incoming damage reduction while invisible. That doesn't mean so if they see you, you don't get that, right? How do you read this as?
If he is invisible, he has damage reduction.
What does that mean if he is invisible?
If he has pressed Shadow Walk.
Are you sure that's how it works?
That's what this wording means to me. What does it mean to you?
To me, I mean, it
if
means if you use this ability and they just happen to sunstrike you without seeing you, you take 40% damage reduction. But if they have vision, then you don't get it. But that would be complete dog shit if that's the case.
Keyword being while invisible, but technically you're still invisible. They can just see you, right? They have revealed invisibility. You are still in the state of invisible.
Right.
That's how I interpret it, but I see what you mean. That is confusing.
I assume you're right because the other way would be just absolute garbage. So, okay. I mean, that sounds pretty good though. 40%
Certainly
damage
useful.
reduction.
How many times does Bounty Hunter walk into a sentry in the mid game and just die? Happens a lot, and this 40% is a lot.
Right, right. Yeah. Okay. Shadow Walk, slow, no longer pierces spell immunity. Okay. Brewmaster, one of your heroes. Again, you have many
Yep.
fat heroes you like to play, don't you?
Yep. I like the fatties.
Base movement speed increased by 5. Drunken Brawler passive evasion increased slightly. Primal split time reduced by 0.1 second. See what's actually relevant here. Storm health has been increased in HP. Fire health has been increased. Earth as well. It's just across the board, it looks like. And the shard cooldown for Astral Pulse, so that's the Void Spirit, has been reduced by 8. And cast point reduction. He gets an AoE clap talent increase here for 10. So pretty minor overall.
Sad. I hate the direction that this hero gets buffed. This hero's been buffed multiple times now, but it's always in the ultimate. This hero just needs a buff in the early game. This hero needs 1 armor and 2 base damage, and it'll be an above average Dota hero.
Right.
That's actually all it needs, because its laning stage and early game is really weak in comparison to other heroes.
All right, Bristleback. I love this hero. Now that there's less breaks in the game, thank you. Base mana regen has been increased. Good. Quill spray damage increased slightly. Stack damage slightly reduced. Viscous nasal goo armor loss per stack is very slightly increased. Like these are not even worth even mentioning for the most part. Scepter removes cast time. That's huge. That's actually huge.
That's nice.
So I'd have to test this in game, but it sounds like if you're moving and casting, you don't actually stop at all, right?
Yeah, it sounds like Sticky Napalm, where it doesn't interrupt anything anymore.
That's amazing. Wow. Okay. And the others are just kind of whatever. Right. It's a good hero, I think. Oh my god, Broodmother. Okay. Broodmother agility increased by 4. Incapacitating bite has been removed. Spawn spiraling debuff duration increased from 5 to 20. The debuff stacks. Okay, they stack now. Rework Shard now causes Silken Bola to be a 550 AoE spell, increases the miss rate to 80%. So this was a single target slow. Was that all it was?
I've got no idea.
So now it's a 550 AoE spell that gives 80% miss rate. Okay. Spin Web. Not any major changes. Insatiable Hunger is now a basic ability. Wow. Okay, so this one I want to read. Damage has been reduced by a ginormous amount. Lifesteal reduced by a decent amount. Cooldown has been reduced by a lot because it's not an ult anymore. And duration scales up to 14 now. Spawn Spiralings is now an ultimate ability. What the hell have they done? Cooldown damage increased by a shit ton. So it does 440 damage now. Spawn count is now 5 units. Cast range increased from 700 to 900. So this is a huge nerf to how the hero's played, because you don't use this on creeps.
You do use this on creeps.
Oh, it's 7. It's still a 7 cooldown. Wow.
This hero got the Enchantress treatment, right? It got 2 skills swapped around, basically. So we obviously haven't read the last part. I guess we'll go real quick. Silken Bola, this is the new skill. Basic ability no longer roots, slows the enemy for 6 seconds, causes enemies to miss for 40%, and with the shard it turns into 80%. It deals impact damage, and it causes enemies on the target to deal plus magical damage per hit, so, you know, you've got huge synergy with summons, right? I don't know if this applies to only your summons for your spiderlings, or if it's for other summons as well, or illusions. I'm assuming it doesn't work with illusions. But this is the interesting ability in my mind. This is the new skill, right? I don't even know how this skill works. Is this a single target ability? Is this an AoE ability? Is this on top of your web? Like, do you have any idea what this
This
is?
this is a single target, and I think the shard makes it AoE. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, what they've done to Broodmother is they are trying to remove this hero from being a meme. And by that
Mm.
I mean it being a cheese last pick hero that only plays against heroes with poor Spiderling clear. But the numbers look too high. When you look at Insatiable Hunger, a 70% lifesteal ability on a 40-second cooldown means you'll probably have infinite sustain in the laning phase. And with 35 damage, if you're mid lane, if you're carry, if you're support, if you're off lane, nobody will be able to contest you, especially with a 50 mana cost. To me, this hero looks imbalanced. Just based off a numbers level alone. I don't know how it'll actually play out because this looks so strange. Like, I can't even imagine what you're doing in lane anymore. Like, are you pressing Silken Bola on them? Are you trying to attack them every time with Insatiable Hunger? Or are you just farming to level 6? I don't really understand what
Yeah,
all these
because
changes mean, but the
like
hunger number
you
is
don't
really
get
high.
summons until 6. So that's a huge change in the way the laning goes for that hero, obviously.
Right, so this is also steps to make this hero a normal hero, right? It's no longer just like some gigantic summon overload where heroes can't deal with. Now you're kind of just playing like a normal hero in the first 6 minutes until you get your ultimate.
Yeah, that's good. I think that's good. I don't know if it's too
I
strong
would
or
say
anything
I
yet,
would say
but
it's overall good, and I want to say the numbers look too high at the moment.
mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool change. Centaur, please. Hoof Stomp
Uh-oh.
AoE increased by 15. That's actually significant. Double Edge cast point reduced. Thank you. Shard slow increased by 10%. Thank you. Shard buff duration increased by 3 seconds. Thank you. Retaliate strength damage increased as well slightly. Stampede cooldown is now a static 90. It used to be the level 3.
Significant for sure.
Yeah. Damage reduction. I'm guessing this is for Ags. Wait, what?
No, this
Oh,
is the damage it deals.
sorry. Damage reduced from 300% to 300%. So it's just the earlier levels that are changed. And Scepter now increases duration by 1 second. So that's no longer a talent. That's nice. I'm actually going to read these talents because I'm interested in this hero. 10 talent, 15 move speed becomes 20. 5 HP regen becomes 6. And 15 talent, 1 second stampede duration is now 6 armor. So he gets a lot
What is
of
the
boring.
talent? Is it double edge damage?
What's that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If my memory serves me correct, which I always got anyway. So no big deal.
So what are your thoughts? Are you happy with this? Are you happy you got a buff at all? Or are you still disappointed that this hero kind of probably still sucks?
The shard sounds like it's a good amount better. Yeah, this doesn't
So
really move the needle for the hero.
I've
What's that?
never played, I've never used it, I've never seen it. The shard, in my
Yeah,
mind, with very limited experience, I'd want to say the shard sucks, or it's like severely underpowered. Is it actually good?
it's probably pretty average. Yeah, it's nothing amazing, but it's
Okay,
fun to use at the very least.
that's good.
Because every time you double edge, you gain a bunch of HP. Now it lasts longer, it slows for longer, and double edge is easier to cast. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's not bad. CK backswing, great. His back won't hurt as much. Shard illusion now always lasts 6 seconds rather than the duration of the stun. That was a kind of a meme shard. Anytime you stun, an illusion comes out. He gets
Right.
a cleave talent at 15. Wow, that's quite the change. And the other ones are kind of negligible. Cleave talent. Wow. I mean, hero
Talent,
cannot farm, so
yeah.
he said it's garbage.
No, I said cleave talents are really, really powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Chen. Let's see. Ult heal slightly buffed. Divine favor costs a lot less mana. The cast range has been increased. I don't remember what shard does for this hero. Let's see.
I don't either, honestly.
I keep click. God damn it. God
Yeah, it's
damn
click.
it. Shard allows divine favor to be cast on allies. All right, teleporting them back after 6 seconds. Okay. Let's get back to the patch notes. I'm sure it'll work just fine. Yep, sure didn't. One moment there.
Well, I guess I'll just wait for you to get back there. He has a really nice level 10 talent.
Let's see. Penitence deals 250 damage. Oh, so Penitence gets to be its old skill kind of again. Very nice. Gets 400 extra HP for the Holy Persuasion creeps at 20. And Hand of God, more of a cooldown at 20 as well. Okay. Cool. Now my mouse wheel doesn't work again.
Uh-oh.
Clinks. Hero's Garbage.
Yep.
Looks like his strength has been increased slightly. Or starting strength, but not his per level. Strafe mana cost, whatever. Skeleton Walk. Shard Skeleton duration is now 15 seconds less. Are these nerfs?
These are nerfs. I'm really confused too because this hero was not good.
Burning Armor Scepter spawn interval reduced. That's a buff.
Yes,
Scepter.
Burning Army is buffed.
Okay. So it looks like they want to take a different direction with this hero slightly in terms of what's the most powerful aspect of him. But at the same...
Strange. This hero is like one of the most mana hungry heroes in the entire game, and Strafe is now even more mana hungry.
Right. Yeah, okay. I mean, but this doesn't really change him too drastically, honestly. It's kind of whatever. We'll see. Clockwork, the Shard Jetpack, one of the most fun ones in the game. Movement speed reduced slightly, and cooldown reduced slightly. And everything else is whatever. Okay. Crystal Medine, reworked Shard, now allows you to move, cast, and attack during Freezing Field. Ooh. Your movement speed is reduced by 75% during this, and the Freezing Field follows your movement. Interruptions and silences will still interrupt the spell. That is cool. So before they had it so you could frostbite yourself, which would give you damage reduction, but you could still... I think you could also cast frostbite while channeling. But now it's this. What do you think?
Certainly better, right? You have more applications. You can move and cast and attack. It gives you some... If you wanted to play mid Crystal Maiden or carry Crystal Maiden, you have something to do now when you're in your scaling game. But
can you, based on this wording, can you use it and then blink in or force staff in afterwards?
Great question.
It says move, cast, attack.
Yeah. So I don't know if this means it follows you or if this creates like a zone around you on the initial cast.
It should follow you, right?
I don't know. It doesn't. Oh, just kidding. It says and Freezing Field follows you. Yeah. So by this definition, you can press Freezing Field then blink in. But I don't know. I mean, is that crazy or it's not really? Like you were gonna blink in and press it anyways. You're just doing it a different order, and the end result is the same. The benefit is that you can follow them afterwards. It says interruptions and silences will still interrupt the spell, meaning that you probably cannot buy Yules and Yules yourself inside the middle of it. Or if you get, disrupted or astral by a teammate, any save is not gonna do anything like that.
Imagine that upgraded Yules with this,
Yeah,
if that worked.
Following them.
Yeah, Wind Waker movement. That's cool. All right, that's a pretty cool one. I like it.
I mean, it's okay, but like, how practical is this one really? I'm sure there are situations where it's gonna make a difference, but I don't know. Same old, honestly. Like, it's still countered by the exact same thing, any interrupt.
Right. Yeah,
I guess
it
the nice
might
part
be
is
good.
that you get to use items, right? Like, you can force staff your teammates while doing it. You can press your Glimmer Cape. You can, do all the things you normally would do. You can double nuke them. It's certainly better, for sure. And on a shard, this looks fantastic, actually. Shard's pretty cheap.
Oh, now it's fantastic. I see.
Now it's fantastic because, I had to think out loud and contradict myself a little bit. It has potential. The ceiling is high.
All right,
And
fair
of
enough.
course, the floor is the same as it was before.
Yeah, true. Okay, Darkseer, Ion Shell, some changes. Let's see what's actually significant here. The Scepter max HP has been reduced by 50, so that's pretty significant. Backswing has been reduced for Vacuum. Wait, this got a buff? Is this real life? No nerf?
That is a buff, but backswing buffs are like the most pointless thing in Dota. It's for noobs that don't, actually chain their spells together properly and cancel out the backswings.
Yeah, that's true. I'm a noob. Normal punch. Shard max distance required reduced by 600. And illusion outgoing damage has been increased by 40%. And incoming damage reduced by 100%. Okay.
Quite significant.
And I guess the biggest change is the 20 talent. Instead of 1 second of extra slow for the wall, you now get a CDR for it, 30-second reduction. And vacuum AoE is at the 15 talent now. It's 100. Okay, Dark Willow. God, I'm sweating profusely. Holy shit. This is not the day to fix the AC. I'll tell you what. Ooh, all right. Dark Willow. Shadow Realm. Cooldown slightly reduced at the earlier levels. Bramble Maze gets a little bit of extra damage. Terrorize cast range reduced by 100. And Shard, which is really good, also reduces delay by 1 second. What does that mean?
It took 4 seconds to go off.
So now it takes 3.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's got, but this was a really good Shard. It creates brambles around the target when they get stunned. Or actually, not just when they get stunned, when Cursed Crown is dispelled, whether it goes off normally or if it's taken off with BKB or whatever.
Right. This is certainly a hero that's on the rise for a couple patches now.
Right.
And you'll probably see a lot more of this hero at high levels of Dota for sure.
And
it's
you
one
get
of the few supports with really high cast ranges too.
Well, her cast range talent was removed, but she gets 160 Curse Crown AoE, which is, again, anytime you're talking about radius and it gets increased by that much, that's actually pretty significant. So,
yep, for sure.
Very cool. All right, Dazzle turn rate improved. Very nice. Reworked the Shard upgrade, which I'm trying to remember what the hell it even was. Poison Touch to Hex. Wait, now causes Poison Touch to Hex affected targets for 1.25 seconds.
Cool.
Wow. That's a huge buff. Wait, what was it before? Was that the you attack everything around you, or is that a talent?
Oh, you're right. It would attack everything once.
So that was like a carry-esque build. And now you get a Hex, which is insane. Okay. 15 talent, you get 60 attack speed instead of 35, which is quite the difference. Poison Touch now does its first instance of damage immediately upon impact. That's great for canceling blinks.
Yep.
Scepter heal for Shadow Wave increased by 40, and the damage increased by 20. Shallow Grave gets some slight changes, and level 15 talent instead of cast range. So they got rid of a lot of these cast range talents. 250 heal on Shallow Grave End. That's cool. That's like Han. That's the Han Shallow Grave, basically.
Is it? I actually didn't know that.
It's close. So it wouldn't technically prevent death in the same way, but if you got past a threshold of damage while it was on, it would heal you.
Oh, I see. Right,
so
it was
that's like-
damage reduction for charges or something.
Oh, yeah, probably that as well. These are cool. Dazzle sounds cool. I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting because they really have to buff these heroes that were very heavily Necrobook dependent, right? Beastmaster, Like, and Dazzle are the three that come to my mind immediately.
Dazzle? Really?
Yeah, Dazzle was one of the best Necrobook carriers because of the ultimate cooldown reduction and the Necro's applied Poison Touch.
I don't know when the last time I've even seen this hero in a game. What
Yeah,
position?
I know. This hero, I mean, this is a dead hero.
Okay.
But when people did play it, it was offlane with Necrobook immediately.
I see. Okay. All right. DP.
Still dead, sadly.
Movement speed decreased, so probably needed. She was way too fast. Reworked Shard, so now increases Spirit Siphon charges by 1 and causes enemies to be feared for 2 seconds if they are siphoned for 4 seconds consecutively. Ooh, that is very interesting. More fears in the game. Yeah. Huh. So they got rid of some move speed and now it's basically a talent. But let's talk about the Shard. What was the Shard before?
It would drain
Minus armor.
0.75 armor and give it to you. It was really worthless.
I mean, in theory, that sounds okay, but I'll take your word for it. That was terrible. So obviously, one extra charge to Spirit Siphon is enormous. That in itself is worth it, probably. And the fear is just a benefit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, interesting, because obviously you need BKB to remove fear, but or to remove the chance from getting feared, but BKB doesn't do anything against the other abilities, so it's a strange item to purchase against DP. This hero is just really difficult to fight. Looks good.
All right, Disruptor. Shard radius increased from 500 to 650. Shard now always increases the radius rather than only on allies, and Shard allied bonus duration increased from 1 to 1.25. So this allows you to cast Thunderstrike on your teammate Shard, I believe. It gives you
Yeah,
like
it gives him some buffs.
like a surge or whatever. Glimpse cooldown or whatever. And oh, this is an interesting one. 15 talent. Instead of the cast range, you get 275 glimpse arrival damage. Wow.
Interesting. Now you can't blink out of it instantly.
That's kind of cool. And you get Static Storm AoE at 25 now. 275 AoE.
That is extremely big.
Yeah. Ginormous. That's the AoE Doom. Speaking of Doom, base armor increased from 0 to 3.
Wow, immortal.
He has slight changes here. Devour no longer gives you HP regen. Sad. Backswing reduced pretty drastically, and the gold that you get from Devour is about 40 higher at the highest level. Scorched Earth, slight backswing changes. Doom, same. Scepter no longer reduces cooldown, and Scepter now also increases Doom duration by 6. So I believe this is it breaks. That they're back on that again, right? Doom Ags. And let's see if there's any big ones here. 15 talent is now when you can devour ancients instead of the 20.
Okay.
Which means the scorched movement speed is now a 20 talent. Wow.
So this hero no longer has extra devour bonus gold as a talent.
Oh, that's true.
The ancients are high value though. The dinosaur creep is good. It's actually really good.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. The 3 armor is pretty huge though for the laning stage. That's not a meme.
Yeah, it's at the cost of no health regen, but honestly, it's a buff.
Dragon Knight, his shard fireball can now be used in melee form. I didn't even know that was only exclusive to Dragon. That's has 600 cast range.
It was really bad being exclusive to Dragon because the Dragon accelerated your farm anyways, and this is basically a farming tool.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That's okay. That makes this way better then. Has 600 cast range when used that way compared to 1400 Dragon form. Dragon Tail, minor changes. And then for the talents, what do we have here? So Dragon Tail stun duration increased by 0.5 for the 15 talent instead of damage. You get extra attack range, 150 Elder Dragon form attack range at 20. 12 Dragon Blood armor regeneration is at 25, so that's instead of the 1.8 times, so it's just a static amount. And the other talent instead of the Dragon Tail increase is 375 AoE Dragon Tail during Dragon form. Oh!
This hero actually looks really good.
Wow. Why would you ever take the other one? Is that just me?
No, I agree. I mean, even before the Dragon Tail stun duration was better than the armor and regen.
But that's insane. 375 AoE Dragon Tail. But it's only during Dragon form. That is one caveat. But still.
Right. A big part of this hero was the cooldown reduction talent at 20 as well. It gave your Dragon form a lot more uptime because the cooldown goes on while you're Dragon formed anyways. But no, this hero got significant buffs. Honestly, if this hero only got the Fireball shard change, it would still be good. And the Dragon Tail dealing damage and having a lower mana cost in the early levels is really significant.
They buffed Davian for the anime. Well done. And we actually keep track of this, Brax. Did you watch the anime?
I did not yet.
What the fuck? What is wrong with you? Well, we'll see.
It's on my to-do list.
Yeah, the to-do list that will never be done. All right, we got to keep track of the heroes that are in the anime and see if they all get buffed. That would be so funny. Drow. Shard burst slow increased by 15%, and Shard now affects creeps. So this is the one that you get X amount of charges based on how many times you're hitting a target, and then they take shatter damage, and their HP regen is reduced, right?
Yeah, and it says HP regen, but it's also healing. So some inconsistent wording there. But yeah, it already wasn't a bad shard. This helps a little bit, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, nothing much else. Earth Spirit, Stone Slow for the Boulder Smash reduced by 10%. Remnant pulls 100 less range, or pull speed, I should say. See anything actually major here. Enchant Remnant, Scepter damage increased by 150, and the radius increased by 150. Okay.
Okay.
Slight nerf here to Rolling Boulder. And yeah, whatever.
Honestly, really surprised this hero got nerfed.
Are you?
Yeah, I don't think this hero is powerful at all.
Really?
I would say this is one of the most average heroes in the game, with an extremely high skill cap.
Wasn't this played a bunch by Crit in the
Yeah, this
DPC?
hero and Tusk played almost every game in the major, and this hero is honestly extremely average. The only truly good thing, truly exceptional thing about this hero was that he was really good against Void Spirit.
Interesting. Okay. I'm shocked by that, actually. I can understand like the high skill cap thing because, you know, in my pubs, they never see this hero anyway. But okay. Earth Spirit. Enchant Totem no longer has True Strike. No longer gets consumed if the attack misses. Scepter leap range reduced. And Scepter now also provides 40% cleave with Enchant Totem buff. Okay, that's pretty random. So some of this is like nerfs to the Morphling Earthshaker still, even though it's not that common anymore. I feel like the Scepter's still good, but who knows? Okay.
Pretty meaningless changes, honestly.
Yeah, Elder Titan. The delay from Earth Splitter is now no longer equal to pi. That's...
What a shame.
That is kind of a shame.
I'll call this a nerf.
Yeah, it's very strange. Okay, Ember Spirit. Backswing reduced for Searing Chains. God, these backswing changes. I don't even know how that... I can't even visualize this.
Horse!
Trees buff Marana buff Craigasm.
I mean, there's a reason for that. You only ever come into a backswing issue if you literally don't do anything after the animation.
Right. His Fire Remnant Shard now provides you with a charge when killing enemy heroes rather than spawning a Fire Remnant, except in the case where you die. Okay. And the Scepter cast range has been reduced by 1,000. Whew. Whew. Scepter was really good on this hero.
Yeah, it was.
Okay. But overall, kind of... I mean, the shard... I've never actually seen the shard in game. It's just your remnants deal damage over time, and they appear when you kill stuff.
Yeah, okay. It's pretty useless. This hero had a little bit of an early game buff, Flame Guard lasting 3 more seconds, level 1. It's not bad. Still probably pretty weak.
Yeah. Enchantress, untouchable attack slow has been increased by 20. And Nature's Attendance, Wisp count reduced to be equivalent to what the old level 3 was. But the healing is now a little bit higher. And the duration by 1 second extra. Okay. Enigma, this is a hero you play. Doesn't look like he was touched too much here. Cooldown for Demonic Conversion.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, so early game it's shittier. Can't deny those juicy creeps. And yeah, just a small change to the level 15.
This hero is dead.
Just from that one change?
Yeah, this is way too significant.
Interesting. Faceless Void, we saw him in the finals. Possibly the worst carry in the game right now. Base armor increased by 1. Always important. Time Dilation now does 13 damage per second per cooldown. Huh.
Cool.
Cooldown is reduced by 6. Duration is reduced by 3. Cooldown slow reduced by 15. So it's been buffed and nerfed all in the same. Time lock damage is increased by 5. Chronosphere radius is bigger by 50. And the cast range has been reduced by 100. Time walk cast range reduced by 25. The shard, which allows you to go backwards, I believe, range has been
Yes.
increased by 200. And the return ability is now on its own hotkey. Okay. So really the biggest change is time dilation dealing damage.
Yeah, there's also another indirect change. This hero was terrible against the summon heroes and the Necrobook buyers in the laning stage.
Mhm.
And of course, it's not in the game anymore. So this hero received significant indirect buffs, and time dilation is interesting. This might be a support hero. This might be. You might see this hero played in different roles now just because of how powerful time dilation is. This is already one of the best skills in the entire game.
Really?
So,
Wow.
interesting for sure.
Support
Definitely a hero
Void.
to look at. Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. Grimstroke reworked shard upgrade causes Ink Swell to deal 50% more damage and heal the target for 50% of the damage Ink Swell deals. Upon expiration, the target will receive a strong dispel. Wow.
Cool.
All right. His other shard was really boring. It was just like a generic, I think it was just like a slow / DPS single target.
Yeah, it's just an extra nuke. This is extremely significant. Strong dispel. That's
Yeah.
really powerful.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, obviously on a bit of a delay, but still. Okay. Phantom's Embrace damage slightly tweaked, buffed. Soulbind latch radius increased by 50. That's pretty nice.
Cool.
And no longer cast range, so that's replaced with Phantom's Embrace extra 50 DPS. Okay. Nice changes for Grim. Gyrocopter, who's been exclusively a support hero from what I've seen from competitive scene.
Yep.
Attack count for flat cannon has been increased by 1. And the cooldown has been basically, it's now scaling.
All right.
Okay. I mean,
Better, but still, hard to really quantify how much this translates in terms of power.
right. All right, here we go. Hoodwink. Agony Scepter and Shard. Agony Scepter grants new ability Hunter's Boomerang. Tosses a boomerang in an arc at the target enemy. Upon contact, it returns to Hoodwink. The boomerang will deal 350 damage as it passes through or hits enemies and applies a Hunter's Mark that causes affected enemies to be slowed by 20% and take 25% more spell damage and have 25% reduced status resistance for 7 seconds. Cooldown is 18.
This sounds amazing.
That sounds very good. It feels like it has every mechanic in the game, essentially.
It doesn't list the cast range.
That's true. Okay, that's Boomerang. The Shard grants a new active ability as well. Decoy. Hoodwink sends a decoy illusion with Scurry to the target location. When the illusion is attacked or hit by a targeted ability, it is destroyed and plants a tree in its place that applies a lesser bushwhack to enemy heroes around it. Illusion lasts for 12 seconds. Sends a decoy with Scurry to the target, so you can't control the illusion. It just goes to the location. Huh.
This sounds worthless. I don't know what a lesser bushwhack is. I know what a bushwhack is, but I don't know what a lesser bushwhack is.
Yeah, this feels like one of those, let's just put this in so she has a shard and then we can buff it later. But
Yeah, the placeholder.
This could be good at my level of play. I don't know. People get confused by illusions a lot.
Right.
But yeah, the Ags itself sounds good. Acorn Shot, which is the Q, bonus damage has been reworked to be less initial percentage, but then more fixed. So that's really hard to gauge. So I guess it just scales worse during the game, but it's probably better early on.
Right. It's basically more geared towards support rather than having this as a damage building core hero.
Mm-hmm. Initial projectile now uses the attacker's projectile speed, halved for bounces.
I don't know if that's faster or slower. Like, this doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah, I know. Planted Tree is no longer considered special for Tango usage, so you don't get the double regen. And may now be placed on autocast to always use ground targeting.
Okay.
Wait, what? What does that even mean?
So you can click it on a hero, or you can click it on the ground before. So you can
Right.
set it so it always clicks on the ground, whether you click on a hero or not.
Because you want to make the tree. It's always better to have
Right.
the tree.
It's about the tree placement.
I see. I guess they didn't get rid of the whole eating the tree makes your skill worthless. Well, I guess we haven't gotten to Bushwhack yet. Radius for Bushwhack decreased slightly. Damage has been decreased by a decent amount. I'm surprised these guys getting nerfs, honestly. Stun duration increased, though, but that's very slight by 0.1. Fixed units dying during Bushwhack, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait. Fixed units dying during Bushwhack, sometimes destroying trees and freeing other units. I don't know. They didn't change it then. So you can still eat the tree to mitigate everything.
So it sounds like the Acorn Shot projectile speed being changed messes up the combo. Because before, if you're close enough, you could Bushwhack first, then Acorn Shot, and they would have less time to eat the tree. Like, you'd be able to quell the tree as it comes out. So if this ruined the combo, then this is a really bad hero, honestly.
Scurry active speed has been reduced slightly, and charge replenish time slightly reduced by 3. Sharpshooter, the ultimate, max damage reduce. Man, what is all? I'm surprised. Everybody is saying this hero is not that good. These are like mostly nerfs.
Yeah, I would say this hero was already underpowered to begin with.
I mean, the Ags sounds good. Maybe it's just God tier and you just have to buy it. I don't know. Anyway, max damage reduced on the ult by 150. Now has a minimum power level of 20%. Okay, so it deals more damage early, it sounds like. Movement slow reduced at the earlier levels. Still the same at level 3. Max debuff duration reduced from 6 to 5 and no longer grants vision along the site. This hero sounds like fucking garbage. What am I missing?
I
here?
have to agree. This hero sounds honestly terrible.
I guess they just want to introduce it to the captain's mode, make sure that it's actually bad, and then buff it. That's really strange. Okay, fair enough. Mr. Huskur, strength gain slightly increased. Inner fire knockback duration is now 1 second. Does that include the disarm time?
No, they're independent.
Okay. Shard upgrade can now be cast while disabled. Does not remove the disable. What's this shard?
I have no idea.
Look, are you in game right now?
Yeah, do you want me to go check it out?
Yeah, you check this stuff because anytime I click it, it fucks it all up.
Okay. So the shard causes inner fire to reduce healing and regeneration by 50% and applies a 40% movement speed slow. Lowers the cooldown by 3 seconds, can be cast while disabled. So it just lets you use inner fire while you're disabled.
That's pretty nice. That's really nice, actually. Huh. Okay. Burning Spear now costs 1% less HP to use. All right. And level 25 talent is no longer attack range. It's 25% spell lifesteal. Is this enough? Probably not, but these are definite buffs.
Certainly buffs, but I don't know. I want to call Huskar like a dead concept, honestly, based on healing regeneration with so much anti-healing in the game.
True. Yeah, any Scotty, any Shivas, any Spirit Vessel. Yeah.
Yeah, just outdated, honestly.
Okay, Invoker, did he get a buff for the anime? Reworked Shard upgrade causes 2 extra Chaos Meteors to land alongside the primary cast at slight angles.
Okay.
So his Shard... Why is Cinder messaging me? For God's sake. His Shard was you could choose the direction of the wall. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
So what does this sound like to you? I mean, this sounds better, I guess.
I mean, this
More
sounds
damage.
like some more FPS creep in Dota 2. You know, and you have 3 meteors coming out instead of 1. First you used to have 1 ghost ship, now you have 3. First you used to have only a little monkey ring, now you've got a big monkey ring as well. So
Right.
Dota's just trying to blow up your PC slowly. 2 more chaos meteors. I mean, it covers more ground, right? That's useful to some degree.
Yeah, I'd have to see that one. Okay, Quas now provides 2 strength per level. All right, that's nice. Exort now provides 2 int per level. Wex 2 agility per level.
Okay. Right, to compensate for the attributes being in the game again.
Yeah, true. Okay. Io, level 25 attack talent, now only attacks if Io is capable of attacking, not when stunned/disarmed. Okay.
Okay.
Cast range for Tether slightly reduced. No longer unlocks max movement speed. Shard now stuns upon connecting with Tether rather than on Tether break. Does not affect the same unit more than once every 7 seconds. Okay. Spirits, max distance reduced by 50. Collision damage reduced, which was definitely needed because of the Ags. These are not as drastic of nerfs as I was expecting, if I'm being honest.
So the collision damage nerf is huge. That's your farming tool.
Yeah, this one's a big one.
Every time the ball goes through, 15 less. That's extremely big.
This is Cinderin's wish list right here.
The only problem with this is once you have Ags, people drop the Ags to blow up the balls instantly anyways, so you didn't really address that problem. But up until you get the Ags, this is much, much weaker.
Good. I was hoping they would just make this hero not viable as a carry anymore, but I guess it's not.
Me too, honestly.
Okay.
It sounds like it's certainly still playable, but not as stable and good as before, which is probably bad for Dota. When this guy can be a carry, it's terrible, honestly.
Yeah, he's too hard to balance, I think, just as a hero in general. So,
Agreed.
Jakiro, agility increased by 5. Delay between waves of dual breath reduced slightly, very slightly.
I don't know if this is enough, but like people, if you press dual breath on somebody from max range, they could actually walk away from being hit by either cast if they had boots. Or like in between, you know, separate hits. Like that's so strange.
Do you think it would be OP if there was just no delay? Like, what's the point of that?
That's the thing. I don't even think it would be OP. Like I think it would just be in tune with how heroes are these days.
Yeah.
This is like the definition of outdated. You know, this is an actual hero from 2010.
Liquid Frost, the Shard ability, now also stuns targets for 0.4 seconds. And the slow has been reduced overall by 10%. I thought this was a really good shard. Am I wrong?
This is a good shard on a bad hero.
It works on buildings, so he can stun buildings with more than just a meteor hammer now. Very nice. Macropyre Scepter no longer increases damage. Wait, what?
How weird. Like, they've never used this line of writing right here. Scepter no longer increases damage from value to value.
Yeah, that's very confusing.
It's
So the
very
Scepter now causes it to become pure damage and pure spell immunity, which was the old 25. So let's see what they changed that to. Now it's 2 times dual breath damage and range. Ooh. That's kind of sexy. And the other one, instead of the Ice Path duration, is Ice Path cooldown reduction. Okay. That's very nice.
sad. Can you imagine, like, this hero would be above average if they just gave him normal cast times and all this shit? That's like the only change this hero actually needs. You don't have to buff any numbers. You can just make the spells actually castable, and this hero will be good. Not imbalanced, just good.
I mean, this...
Ice Path is still terrible and clunky. Dual Breath, same thing.
Right. I mean, I've been saying this since I switched back from Han. Like, if you give a hero... If you make a hero less clunky with the attack animations or cast animations or whatever, there's other ways to balance around that. They don't have to feel like garbage. Like, some heroes are, like, good right now. Like, I don't know how good he is right now, but Clockwork, he has always felt super clunky compared to his Han version. There's no reason. You just make him feel good and then balance around that instead of making him feel like absolute shit and balance around the way that he currently feels. You know what I mean?
I completely agree. Like, it's just more fun as well. It's a more enjoyable hero to play.
Yeah.
and then you can adjust numbers accordingly if it's too strong. But I don't even believe it would be too strong. Like, this is just normal with how heroes are these days.
Yep. Speaking to the choir, preaching to the choir. Thank you. Juggernaut now provides spell immunity with Omni Slash, and the attack rate multiplier has been reduced by 0.1. What does that mean? Now provides spell immunity.
So I read this the first time, and I did not understand what this meant because it already made you invulnerable. It already dispelled everything on you to begin with. So what does this mean, provides spell immunity? You're not targetable by any spells already inside of Omni Slash, so I can't imagine a single situation where this would do anything. Because it actually purged everything when you used
Right.
Omni Slash. So nothing could be affecting you. What does this mean?
Can you hook spell immune targets?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know what this changes. It's not like it's a dispel.
People are telling me that it works on glimpse, that it's for glimpse delay on cast.
Oh, okay, sure. So any debuff that you currently have on you just doesn't remove it necessarily, but it doesn't apply either, right?
Oh, someone also said, Shiva's gives you a minus attack speed aura, right? But it doesn't work on magic immunity, so this makes you magic immune.
Ah, okay.
Interesting.
All right, so just more of a quality of life thing.
Right. There's probably a very small amount of things that this actually affects.
Swift
I can't believe
slash.
this hero is not nerfed.
What's not nerfed?
This hero, Juggernaut, he's
Yeah.
barely nerfed. This is one of the most powerful carry heroes of the entire patch.
He's banned every game that I play, every single game.
He's
Or
banned in
picks.
every game in Major as well, and in high tier games as well. This hero's insane.
Not much of a nerf. Keeper of the Light, reworked shard upgrade instead of it healed you with your Q, Illuminate?
Yeah, it looks like they switched what each thing did, is all.
Now grants you recall during spirit form. So only while you're ulted. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So spirit form by default no longer recalls, now causes Illuminate to heal. So they just switched them up. Okay. All right. Are you kidding me? Level 15 talent, 2 solar bind chart. This spell is so annoying. Why? This is so stupid. Have you ever played against Keeper of the Light Juggernaut in lane? Like, how do you even do anything? Ugh.
Yeah, this is the most infuriating spell in the entire game. It's funny, they remove the most annoying spell, Mana Leak, and they replace it with another spell that is also equally as infuriating.
Yeah. Ugh, God, that's horrible. All right, Kunkka. Agility slightly increased. Cast range reduced for Torrent by 200. Shard, which was the tidal wave, now causes affected units to be unable to attack for the pull duration. Didn't even know that was not a thing before. Shard now starts 900 units behind you instead of 600. Shard cooldown reduced slightly. Shard damage increased slightly. I mean, is this shard garbage? What do you think?
Yes. This shard is a very mediocre repositioning tool.
Yeah.
Honestly, this hero is just weak. Maybe they did something in the talent department to make this hero actually decent, but it doesn't look like it. You have Torrent, stun, duration, strength at instead of health regen, which is good. And Tidebringer cleave at 20, which is pretty worthless, to be honest. Ever since this spell was affected by armor, scaling it is really a big waste of time. And then a 25 Tidebringer cooldown again. I don't know. Looks bad.
Okay. Legion Commander, reworked shard, thank God. That's fucking horrible. Causes press the attack to apply spell immunity for 1.75 seconds. Wow. Reduces cooldown by 3 seconds. So screw what I want with this hero. You're just going to make press the attack the literal only ability that matters. Overwhelming odds radius has been increased slightly. Dual Scepter no longer grants spell immunity. Okay. Scepter damage immunity from non-dueling participants changed from 100% to 50%. And Scepter reduces cooldown by 20 seconds. Wait, let me read this one again. Scepter damage immunity from non-dual participants changed.
Right, so when you had Axe, nobody could deal damage outside of the
Now they
targets
deal
right now.
half damage.
Yes. So now you won't completely grief when you duel somebody with Ags in a 1v1. You can't win. Your teammates can assist you.
Right. Does that make it better or worse? I don't know. Depends
In
on the
theory,
game.
it should make it better because it should make it slightly better. I guess the nice part about this hero is that when you win a duel, your press the attack goes off immediately anyways, so you'll be able to reset.
I mean, I think I think this is a nerf more than anything, just because the spell immunity is not there anymore. So if you pick a hero that counters like Shadow Demon, Disruption, like all that, that's why you buy Ags on this hero, right? To just disable a hero for 8 seconds or whatever. But
Is this hero powerful in lower level games?
no, he's garbage, or she's garbage.
This hero is also extremely underwhelming in high games.
Yeah.
So these changes don't look very significant. This 15 talent looks like to be the most significant thing. Plus 75 overwhelming odds hero damage. That's pretty good. You'll be casually using this spell for like 500 damage in the mid game. But I don't know. It's so weird, right? Like they make this hero a spellcaster based on press the attack instead of duel based. And I imagine everyone wants to see this hero duel based rather than sitting in the backlines press the attack to debuff.
Yep. Ever since they got rid of her fucking horse, which I guess she never had one in Dota 2, but ever since they got rid of that fat, juicy horse, this hero's been so not fun design-wise. Everything is press the attack.
The shard is certainly,
It's good,
you know,
though.
it's good for sure. But what a boring hero. Like this hero has such a cool concept with duel, and there's no tension on the duel anymore. It's all falling into other places, and that's sad to see.
I couldn't agree more. Leshrac, who is another clunky fucking hero. Radius for Pulse Nova has been increased by 50. The Split Earth Shard Pulse count increased from 2 to 3. Wait, I thought it was already 3. It's the one that increases the radius of Split Earth. It comes back after a few seconds.
Yes. So it was 3 total, counting the initial Split Earth, right? It was 1, then 2 more after. Now it's 1, then 3 more after.
Oh, I see. So wait, does that mean it gets an even bigger radius for the last one? I have to check that one out. It's like global.
Sounds like it.
Okay, you get a Lightning Storm damage talent now at 15, 100 extra there. That's actually pretty good. 25 talent, that one's removed, and you get 30% magic resist instead. Interesting.
Strange.
All right, Lich. Frost Blast, primary target damage reduced by 40. Area damage increased by 50. Ice Spire, which is the shard that is one of the worst shards in the game. Although I've seen it being decent, actually, but I think most people think it's terrible.
It's actually not that bad. The hero is just pretty below average.
Okay. Yeah, when I look at it, I'm like, this actually doesn't seem that bad. The health of it is increased by 200, radius increased by 150, and the slow by 10%. I mean, this hero has so many slows, it's absurd. Would you agree that one of the biggest nerfs to this hero ever is the fact that Chain Frost doesn't mini-stun anymore?
No, I would say the biggest nerf to this hero ever was Mango's getting nerfed.
Okay, that's boring. Boring answer.
Why do you think that's so important? There's only like 2 spells that affects in the entire game. It's like Black Hole and BKB TP.
Well, yeah, he was always like a good Black Hole or Enigma counter. But yeah, I mean, TPs are pretty common. Lich can't stop anybody from TPing. I don't know. Maybe I'm overstating it.
Damage, right? The Frost Blast has more AoE damage and less single target damage, and then there's a talent for it as well. The problem with all these heroes is that they're losing their cast range. So like heroes like Lich that already struggled to survive are even weaker. A lot of these magical, 5-position heroes or spellcaster heroes, whatever you want to call them, they all got so much weaker without their cast range talents. That's why it's really hard to see how these smaller buffs are going to do, because they may just be weaker overall.
Mm-hmm. All right, Lifestealer, one of my favorite heroes of all time that I'm very sad he's garbage right now, although he was picked in the major and he should have won the game, but they didn't. Base damage reduced by 3. Fuck. Feast now does 1.2% of target's max health as damage. It's back! It's back! Hell yeah. Open wounds shard now also causes Hero attacks on the target to deal 2% of the target's max health as damage, so even more. Shard cooldown reduced by 10. Infest Scepter. Hero duration increased from 4 to 5. So this is where you can infest an enemy hero. It's a meme. Although I guess if you're really farming, it's pretty good. And the cooldown is reduced by 5. Okay, any relevant changes here? Movement speed talent. 15, you get HP instead of movement speed, so they kind of flip-flop them. Ghoul Frenzy, slow increase, great for the talent. All right, this hero's good. I'm just going to say now, this hero's good again.
Hero is actually good. Open Wounds getting a shard buff is insane. Feast getting a buff is insane. Finally, people will max Feast. This is the correct ability to max before, by the way, instead of Ghoul Frenzy.
Really?
But nobody actually did it. Yep.
I didn't do it either.
So now people will probably do that, and they'll actually feel how strong this hero is in the early game.
Now,
And
keep in mind, I can't remember what this hero was like originally, but because I think they flip-flopped this a lot, but for the longest time, it was Feast dealt damage based on current HP. The fact that this is so this hero hard counters like super fat, strengthy heroes, which is what he's intended to do originally. So good to see.
So the difference between this lifestealer and the 800 versions before is this is the lifestealer that still attacks extremely fast. And now he also has feast damage. Before, he never had that combo. Before, it used to be extremely slow attacking with higher damage on feast. So what this means is also this maxed health damage is also in your lifesteal. But 1.2% is not a very high number, right? On a 1000 HP target, that's 12 damage. On a 2000 HP target, that's 24 damage. But this hero attacks extremely fast, and honestly, this hero needed more damage somewhere. So it should be overall good. And then, you can see the design, right? He's meant to shred high HP targets. It's even in open wounds now. So it looks good, honestly. It looks like this hero will also be on the rise.
I am very happy. We'll be spamming him for sure. Okay. I said I was going to be playing Axe. I might play Lifestealer first. We'll see. Lena, LSA damage increased by 30. The Shard, which is this the weird one where you click on the ground and you Laguna Blade like multiple targets or something?
That's the one.
Now removes the delay before damage is dealt, and the Shard cast range bonus increased from 150 to 250, so it's kind of the same. Never personally seen this in a game yet. Have you?
I've seen it, and I've never seen it actually hit more than one target.
Yeah, it feels like a kind of a weird idea. I don't personally like it too much. But she does get a Laguna Blade cooldown reduction now at 25. That's pretty big. Okay. So now you see more opportunities for the Shard to be good, maybe. Lion. A little sad they didn't delete this hero from the game. Reworked his Shard upgrade, which I don't even remember what his did before, but now it causes mana drain to affect up to 3 enemies. Great. You become spell immune while channeling. Great. What did his Shard do before?
It drained their attack speed or something.
Great.
Yeah, something along those lines.
I really can't wait for this to be in a game. Boy, oh boy, I'm so happy. This hero was picked like every game in the finals, and he's not nerfed. So, mana drain cooldown has been rescaled to be 2 seconds longer. Woo! And break distance 100 less. Woo! And in terms of everything else, he did get the cast range removed like everybody else in the game, and he gets 70 max health per finger of death kill here.
So obviously, I mean, I know in lower tier games this hero is problematic, right? He ends up with 20 stacks on finger, and people die getting hexed out of position all the time. But no cast range talent's a big deal, isn't it? Isn't this a significant to the hero?
Yeah, it is. But I was hoping for a deletion of the hero, so
I see
gotta-
that's how much this hero.
I have to temper my expectations. So wait, let me read this again. 70 max health per finger of death kill. The first time I read this, I thought it was the damage thing, but so you gain HP.
I did too.
So it scales. Doesn't really seem like that much, but it is a 15 talent.
I'm gonna go check what the other talent is. I don't actually know.
And then the 20 talent, instead of the mana drain multi-target, since that's now the Shard essentially, mana drain restores allies. What the hell does that even mean?
When you drain, it gives mana to your. Oh, yeah, I don't know. The wording is terrible. Does this mean if you drain a creep, it's also going to give mana to your eyes, or does that mean you click them like Pugna Drain?
I assume it means you can click them like Pugna Drain, but does that mean you're giving up your mana? Or you're just literally giving mana to heroes?
Well, the spell is mana drain, so I imagine it's transfer.
You would imagine.
I would imagine, but of course the wording here is very questionable.
It's Lion, so I'm expecting the worst possible answer to this. So
It sounds like it drains your mana and gives it to them.
what was the other talent for 15?
-2 second cooldown on Earth Spike.
Okay. It's interesting. Lone Druid, range base attack time reduced. Okay. And Savage Roar Shard now also applies a basic dispel on you and the Spirit Bear. And Shard now also causes the roar to happen on both locations, regardless of the casting state on the other side.
It's nice.
Okay. All right, Luna, did she get buffed? Eclipse, cast point reduced. Lucent Beam Shard. So this is the one where you click on the ground, it provides vision, and I think you get cooldown reduction or something.
It increased the stun to 1.2 seconds.
That as well. Shard no longer increases stun duration. Okay. Shard no longer provides you with movement speed. Shard now releases an attack at up to 2 random targets within 500 radius from the target location. These attacks bounce like glaives normally do. Also lowers the mana cost of Lucent Beam by 50. Huh. All right. That's, I mean,
Okay,
it's unique.
so what this says to me is they're nerfing the support Luna quite a bit. It was really based off pressing Lucent Beam 10 times in a fight with 350 cast range, stunning people over and over. So to me, this is Ice Frog saying this hero is no longer a support, played as a core. Which is sad, because this hero sucked as a core.
Gets the Lucent Beam stun back on the talent, so they flip-flop that quite a bit. And yeah, the 350 cast range, by the way. Although it's literally only one spell, I guess, unless you get Ags. Still, at a level 10 talent, that's huge. Lycan, agility gain increased by 0.4. Mana cost for summon wolves, whatever. Feral Impulse, bonus damage increased by 6%. Shapeshift transformation time reduced from 1.25 to 1.1, so a buff. Movement speed reduced from 650 to 550, so back to the fixed movement speed, what you get with haste, essentially. Duration increased by 6, and now increases Lycan's health passively by 350. Wait, is it passively or when you click it?
It's when you click it. That's how it used to be in the past.
Okay. Wolfbite now grants shapeshift to the target only rather than the target and units it controls. I don't remember that being a thing.
So you could shapeshift PL, and all illusions would also be shapeshift because this is an aura, because it applies to summons, right?
Right.
It would apply that same property, and now it's only the single unit.
Can now target creep hero units like Spirit Bear and Golem. That sounds scary. A bear wolf.
So that part does sound scary, but luckily there's no Necro anymore in the game, so this hero probably completely sucks.
True. Okay. Magnus, Empower. Damage has been increased by 4%. Skewer damage increased by 30. The speed of it has been reduced by 50, though. RP, just mana cost reduction at the earlier levels. And Horn Toss, which is his shard, which I have yet to see in a game either. The landing stun duration increased from 1/4 of a second to 3/4 of a second. Have you seen this in a game yet?
I have, and it looks like something that shouldn't be in the game. It looks so clunky and awkward, I don't even know what the frog was thinking with this one.
Isn't it? Wasn't that an original ability for Magnus in Dota 1? Do you remember? Couldn't he pick somebody up and throw it behind him in Dota 1?
If it was, I don't remember.
I have that memory. Maybe it's another game I'm thinking of. Okay, talents or whatever. Mars. This is a hero that you spam. I hate this hero, by the way. It just feels like it always loses. Always. Agility gain reduced slightly. God's Rebuke damage versus heroes reduced. So it scales now, but it ends up being the same at level 4 that it used to be. Bulwark Scepter, attack slow increased from 20% to 30%. So this is the little guys around you, the shield thingies, right?
Yeah, the super awkward looking soldiers.
So it's been buffed, surprisingly. And his ult damage reduced by 30. I assume that means when you get hit by the outskirts of it.
Yes.
And nothing significant. Okay, whatever changes. Any thoughts on your favorite hero?
Honestly, I despise this hero. I liked it in the beginning, and this hero is repeatedly nerfed over and over and over. So in the beginning, he had the ability to he had enough damage to solo kill people. He basically had a tiny combo if he speared somebody to the edge of the arena.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been nerfed so many times. Now the God's Rebuke W spell has been nerfed again too. It already costs more mana. I mean, this hero is just getting weaker and weaker. His late game was already terrible in comparison to other heroes, and his main strength was the early game. And I don't know. This hero will always be a hero that's like probably gonna hover around a 50% win rate, maybe slightly below, just because you need BKB to counter arena.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, people still pick this hero for the exact same purpose. He's a powerful early game hero, and he picks Phoenix Egg, but he's pretty average, honestly.
Would you rather have Jeremy Kahn in the game by any chance?
100%. I know Jeremy Kahn would be imbalanced as hell.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Medusa, base HP has been increased by a quarter from 0 to 0.25. Very important. Mana Shield now passively provides 250 mana. Really? Okay. Mystic Snake for the Scepter, stone duration rescaled to be higher as a fixed amount and then less slightly per bounce. And yeah, talent's kind of negligible. Surprised this hero got buffs, actually.
Yeah, same. This hero wasn't picked very much, but this hero is certainly powerful.
Yeah, during the DPC, it was picked, or at least the qualifiers for the major, it was picked quite a bit.
Yeah.
Meepo, collision size reduced from 24 to 8. These numbers mean literally nothing to me. Reworked Shard now allows you to poof to allies within a max range of 2,000 when directly targeting them. Allows you to poof to allies when directly targeting. What the hell does that even mean?
You can poof to an ally. Where's the confusion?
I don't play Meepo. Could you not poof to allies before?
You can only poof to allied meepos before. Now you can poof to teammates.
Oh, okay. I assume this meant Meepos. Okay, that's so the old shard was like the dig, right?
Right. No, the shard was Ags was dig, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know. This hero is just a mess.
Dig is still in it, so I'm pretty sure Ags was dig.
So was the shard the Geostrike gets buffed or something?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Okay.
Get a chance to Geostrike.
All right. So poof radius increased slightly. Dig scepter duration increased by half a second, and the health restored increased by 15%. Okay. What do you think of this shard? Is that something that you think is good? That sounds pretty good.
Sounds not very practical.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't sound that very useful to me.
No, I'm not a Monkey King or a Meepo player. All right, Monkey King, hoping for some nerfs here. Base HP regen reduced. Great. Wukong's command soldiers fixed. No longer ignore their attack cooldown when they miss.
I didn't even know they did that.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean?
That means if somebody has evasion in the past, they would attack, and then they would attack again instantly because they didn't land their attack.
Ah, okay.
So
Tree
it'd be like
Dance.
Earth, you only lose an overpowered charge if they have
Right.
evasion.
Okay, that sounds like it was just a bug, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like just a bug fix.
That's a pretty big bug, though. Tree Dance ground to tree range reduced slightly. Boundless Strike cast range reduced slightly. Wukong's command for the Scepter. Soldiers no longer attack Roshan. Okay. And they now die when Monkey King dies. All right. These are not major nerfs.
The Roshan one is extremely significant.
Yeah, I guess.
He had the ability to solo Roshan upon completing Aghanim's.
But they got rid of it so it would aggro him, right? Did they fix
No.
that? You're sure?
Yes.
Because when it first came out, I thought I was abusing a bug, and I would just stand in Roche Pit, and my little guys would just kill Roche, and Roche would never attack back. It still did that.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. All right. Great to see. All right. He no longer gets the 200 armor Wukong's command because nobody picked it at 25. Now it's a 0 cooldown Primal Spring.
How pointless. What the hell? They removed the Primal Spring damage talent as well. Why would you ever take this over the ring? I
Yeah, the
guess if you're
ring.
Monkey King, then you'd have this. The problem is you can't hop back on a tree unless if you get hit. So if you spring into something and then you get hit, you can't go back on a tree anyways.
Right. I mean, in combination with the shard, it definitely makes this like it's not like it's bad, but you're right. The other 25 talent is what people took anyway, and they're going to continue to take. I'm surprised that wasn't removed, honestly. I thought it was too strong.
Me too. I think that talent is actually game breaking.
Literally, because it lowers your FPS as well. So
yeah, everything about it is truly game breaking.
Okay, Morphling. Attribute shift now has a 10 mana cost per second to shift attributes. Wow. That is pretty major.
Yeah, it's like an old Morphling.
Attribute shift interval rescaled to be whatever. Adaptive strike shard no longer removes a 3-second shard cooldown. Okay. And stun duration is increased by 1. And then for talents, 25 talent, 30 strength. Used to be 30 strength. Now it's attribute shift while stunned. So you can only do this at 25 as opposed to, I mean, when this was a thing, it was pretty broken, right?
Yeah, it was extremely broken when Morph could just shift while stunned. I don't know. This here looks dead to me, honestly.
Good.
Yeah, I guess so. The main appeal of the attribute shift was that you could, basically have a source of infinite health in the laning stage.
Mm.
Now you have a resource to deal with as well. So in tough lanes when you're playing against range shares, it'll just keep hitting you forever. You won't be able to sustain anymore.
Right. Good.
Which I'm happy with. I hate playing against this hero. I didn't think this. I mean, this hero was in balance with the combos, but outside of the combos, it was really average, honestly.
Mm-hmm. No remodel either. Unfortunate.
Not yet. That's next patch.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna put this as a battle pass thing. They need to be paid to remodel. I think that's the play. Naga Siren and Snare cooldown has been increased dramatically at the earlier levels, but ends up being the same at level 4. So it gives you no longer a 1-point wonder. I guess that's the point of that. Duration slightly buffed in the earlier stages. Scepter cooldown reduction increased from -5 to -6. The Riptide Shard no longer has an active. And the Shard armor reduction increased from -2 to -4. And the Shard now also adds 20% slow when it procs.
Pretty whatever.
Yeah, kind of whatever. I mean, this is such an uninteresting hero in general, honestly.
I agree.
Nature's Prophet. Nature's Call, his attack damage, or the attack damage for those slightly increased. Teleportation cooldown tweaked. See, Wrath of Nature base damage increased by 15. And the increment has been nerfed slightly by 1%. The Scepter root duration, I've never seen this ever picked up before. So essentially roots everything, but it starts out as a very minimal root, and it goes up for each target and ends up being now 3.8 instead of 3.4. And the base is from 1.6 to 2. So this is overall a buff. I mean, this doesn't... It's a full Agony Scepter. That's the only thing, right?
This hero is overall nerfed, and this is like... This was not an imbalanced hero at all, so I'm extremely surprised.
Well, perhaps they just don't want ratting, you know?
One.
Yeah, they deleted Necros and deleting all rat heroes. Can't say I'm unhappy about that. Necrophos. Looking for some juicy upgrades here. Let's see. Attack projectile speed increased by 300. Very nice, very nice. Shard has been reworked, which I'm trying to remember what the hell it even was. No longer does 50% more damage / heal. Instead, it applies Decrepify on the target enemy or ally for 2.5 seconds. Against enemies, it reduces magic resist by 25%.
So they just gave him Pugna's ability? That's what it is, right?
Yeah, that does sound like Decrepify. Okay. Ghost Shroud slow increased at the earlier levels. Heartstopper basically very minimal changes. Okay, so he didn't really get many buffs here.
You got a significant one. Regen duration increased from 7 to 8. There's a lot more regen, actually.
Okay. You consider that a
But
major buff?
nothing else, really.
I thought they would make it so Ghost Shroud would not be dispellable. What do you think about that change?
I think they're trying to avoid anything like that because then you're just a different version of Huskar, where you're a physical immune. I don't think they want things like that in the game.
Because right now, like Spirit Vessel, Nullifier, like any HP regen reduction, Scotty, Shiva's, it feels like they just wrecked this hero.
I thought that they would give the Ghost Shroud, like, I thought they would remove the slow entirely and make it so that it basic dispels them. So you could remove roots and slows. And it would also give you a way to remove Vessel.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And it would still make you get dumpstered by silences, but it'd give you one more tool to help deal with all these things, because this stuff looks worthless, honestly.
Time to message Ice Frog. Night Stalker, Hunter of the Night, Shard is no longer restricted from player units. So this is the thing where you eat things, right?
Yeah, you eat things and they heal you.
Okay. Shard can now be cast during the day on non-ancient units, and Shard healing increased from 25% to 35%. Okay. Have yet to see that one. I've yet to see really Night Stalker that much.
Don't worry, for good reason.
Nyx Assassin, now Vendetta provides 50% attack animation speed. I don't even know what that means.
So that means your single Vendetta hit goes off faster because you Vendetta hit then Impale, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if your attack comes out if the faster your attack comes out means the faster you can Impale, which is also going to be related to the distance of how far the heroes are apart from each other.
There's just too many of these little like attack animation speed, upswing, or whatever the hell that's called, backswing. Like it's just
side swing.
There's too much. Burrow for the Agony Scepter damage reduction increased by 10%. Okay. Yeah, mostly see this hero as kind of like the just blow you up really quick. So the Agony Scepter is kind of the opposite build, where you're high ground defending or just somebody in the back. Ogre Magi Fire Shield, which is what you get with Shard, incoming damage reduction from 70% to 85%. And the Shard mana cost reduced. Okay, whatever. Have you seen the Shard for Ogre Magi?
I have. It's good against very specific heroes. If you have this against Ricky, if you have this against TA, PA, heroes that are trying to assassinate your supports, it protects them. It's pretty good.
Okay. It's like 3 instances of damage or something. It's like a mini refraction for physical damage.
It'll pretty much stop you from getting bursted by these heroes that are trying to hunt supports exclusively.
All right. Omni Knight. Base strength increased by 2. Movement speed by 5. Heavenly Grace has been buffed by 4 strength. Hammer of Purity. Is that the Shard?
That is the Shard.
Cooldown is down by 2. Damage is just higher as base. And then percentage-wise, it's been pretty nerfed. This one sounds fun, but I have the A to Z challenge. That it's at the front of the page or in your profile of your game. I have yet to do it, and the first hero is Omni Knight. So,
oh boy, bet you're really inspired to play some Omni Knight now.
No, definitely not. I banned myself in Dota 1 when he was supposed to be good mid, and I just couldn't figure it out. Too dumb.
Let's see, what a boring hero. This hero needs a rework.
I agree. Oracle. It's actually funny because the Hammer of Purity is kind of like the new hero. So this was like the test bed. Feels like.
Oh. Let's see.
Oracle Fortune's End damage has been upped by quite a bit, 70 increase at level 4.
Early as yeah.
False Promise Shard Fade Delay reduced from 0.3 to 0.15. And cooldown has been rescaled to be 15 seconds longer. That's probably neat. 45 just felt way too low.
Yeah. This if you couldn't kill this hero in the beginning of every fight, this hero is actually way too powerful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is interesting. Level 15 talent. Instead of the cast range, now you get 15 armor when you false promise somebody. Huh. That's quite interesting. And
none of these talents are ever going to be better than cast range.
Yeah.
But I guess this is a good start. 15 armor, false promise.
Let's see. What is this one? Instant Fortune's End for level 25 talent.
That's cool.
Wait, Fortune's End is the Q, right?
Yes.
Do you know what the Agony Scepter does for this hero? Have you played with it before?
It makes the Purifying Flames an extremely low cooldown, right?
No, that's the old one. It's Fortune's End stuns for half the duration.
Really? I didn't know that.
So 25 talent sounds pretty freaking good for that build.
You get your nice 1.25 second stun.
Yeah, it's nice. OD. Doesn't look like we have a rework based on the amount of text we have here. So Essence Flux Shard now has a 0.75 second cast time instead of 1.5 second channel. And the Shard now transfers 100% of the max, or the health / mana instead of 75%. So, okay, still a garbage Shard. Is this the worst Shard in the entire game?
Might be.
Oh, people are saying that the, yeah, never mind. Oracle Ags has been changed again. That's right. It's no longer the stun one. Brax, I'm sorry for misinforming you.
Oh, okay. You're supposed to have all the Ag's knowledge.
It's the, yeah, it's the Fate's Edict. Doesn't, you can attack with it on or whatever for allies. There's too many changes, man. I can't keep up with this shit. Astral Imprisonment. Cast point increased. Scepter no longer increases cast range by 150. Scepter now also increases damage by 140. And Scepter now also causes it to do damage in a 400 AoE. All right, so they're bringing back like old mechanics slowly.
Okay.
But you still get 2 of these, right? That's the Ags, so. Okay, whatever. Hate this hero, by the way. Hate this hero.
Don't worry, he's trash.
All right, my boy Pangolier. Swashbuckle, cast range reduced by 50. Oh, no. Rolling Thunder speed reduced by 50. That's going to take some getting used to. Duration increase from 8 to 10. Damage reduced for the ult by 10 at the highest level. Shield crash, mana cost slight. Oh, it's actually lowered by 20 at the highest level, or all levels. And damage reduction increased at the earlier levels, but the same at level 4. And then the 10 talent, which nobody ever gets anymore, is nerfed for some reason. 2 mana regen becomes 1.5. Who gets this?
Only people that play this hero in the mid lane that are very selfish. They don't realize how good the other talent is.
What do you mean they're selfish?
They're selfish. They don't want to buy themselves mana regen, so they get this talent. They're fucking lazy.
But I play mid, and I feel like it's more selfish to get the other talent because you're able to hit more people.
Well, I don't understand that logic of thinking, but more mana regen is prioritizing yourself, right? That's why I can relate that as being selfish.
Okay, I guess. I mean, it just feels like if you can buy something, then it's probably not as good as the other one because
Right. The other change is how your hero can actually play the game, right? And it's even more important now that Swashbuckle got another cast range nerf, I guess. Before it used to be 1100, then it used to be 1000, and then it went to 900, and now it's 850. Pretty significant. So I don't really know how much this Rolling Thunder change is going to impact the hero because At some value of movement speed, people can juke you really easily with phase boots. Even if you spam click on top of them so your ball follows them perfectly, if they change angles and press phase boots, they can actually dodge it if they're at like max move speed.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this changes some dynamic and that number value becomes even lower where people can really mess up your Rolling Thunder, but it looks like a buff. 2 more
Yeah.
seconds of it, it gives you the potential to land 1 more stun with this in ideal situations, and in non-ideal situations, if this lets you hit them 1 more time as well, it's still more valuable. So I thought this hero would get nerfed, honestly. This hero is extremely powerful, and he probably still is extremely powerful.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that with this duration increase that they didn't tweak the level 15 talent that gives you the 3 seconds extra duration, because that's what everybody's taking right now, and I hate taking it because the 2.5 second cooldown on Shield Crash is amazing during Rolling Thunder, with my build at least. So now you can increase it to 13 second duration. That's insane.
Yeah, it's super, super long.
All right, PA, Stifling Dagger, range has been lowered slightly. Fan of Knives, which is the Shard upgrade, damage increased from 12% to 16%. I believe this is max HP percentage damage.
Yes.
Shard mana cost reduced to just 50, and the impact time now matches the projectile visuals. Okay, so this, if you need a break, this is what you get every game. This hero, easy purchase. Level 10 talent. I'm surprised that was buffed. Take that one every time. The level 15 talent, no surprise, nerfed. 50 cast range on. Yeah, still really good though.
Yep, for sure.
All right, PL Doppelganger cast range reduced by 25. Phantom Rush range has been reduced by 75. And Spirit Lance shard damage increased by 20%. Okay, whatever.
Shard buffs for this hero. The shard was already pretty strong, so you'll probably see it picked up even more regularly on this hero. I mean, this hero got slightly nerfed, but really it's the same. Nothing crazy.
Yeah. All right, Phoenix Shard has been reworked. Now causes Sunray to slow enemies by 12% and be castable during Supernova. Okay, so that means the talent has changed. Max health damage for Sunray has been nerfed a bit. Same with cast range. Supernova radius has been reduced by 100. That's pretty significant.
Yep.
The talents, I guess the 20 talent is the Sunray during Supernova is now 0.5 second Supernova stun duration. So kind of rehashing an old 25 talent.
The shard looks better.
What did it do before? Oh, that was the constant fire spirits, right?
Peach charges. That one was a lot better for farming, but this one is a lot better for fighting. Because you know, it takes a long time to get level 20 on Phoenix to get that talent before. Now you can purchase it.
Yep, I agree. That is quite good.
Yeah.
Puck. All right, just some cooldown stuff here, and surprised not. Okay, so they got rid of the illusory orb distance talent completely. It looks like is now just a cooldown reduction here.
Sadly, that wasn't even the imbalanced talent.
What's the other 20 talent?
It's
Attacks.
Rift cooldown reduction.
Oh right, yeah, the Waning Rift. All right, Pudge, please. Base armor increased by 1. Predicted this one. Easy. Attack range increased by 25. Who gives a shit? Cooldown of Hook. Lower at the earlier levels. Dismember Shard. Cast range on allies increased from 160 to 400. So
that's where you could eat them, right?
Yes, it's actually good. It's legitimately good shard, and now you don't need an Aether Lens for it.
Cool.
Rot. If you get Agony Scepter, it increases the AoE by 25 and the Scepter damage by 20. All right, so not much changed, sadly, with this hero.
Got 1 armor. It's the most significant change I just read.
I really missed the HP regen on Flesh Heap. That was extremely good.
Yeah,
I don't know why they bring that back. Yeah, not much sad Probably just garbage still. Pugna, Nether Blast delay reduced, okay, by 0.1. And the shard interval has been reduced from 1.75 to 1.5. That's the so
double
every, well, it's more than double. It can be triple, quadruple.
Oh my.
The longer you hold it. It's like the edging master right here. 25 talent, just a slight increase there in damage. Okay. Queen of Pain. Distance for blink reduced. So now it scales up to what it used to be. The shard, which silenced, the duration has been increased by 0.25. And Sonic Wave Scepter bonus, the damage has been increased by 70 at the highest level. And 25 talent. So instead of 200 Sonic Wave damage, you now get minus 2-second blink, which you're going to have to check the cooldown for me. Is that a 5-second cooldown to begin with?
6 seconds.
6? Okay, 6 to 4. Pretty strong. Okay. Doesn't really feel like it changes her place right now, though. Of course, a lot of indirect changes that we don't see initially.
Right. The problem is the other 25 talents so good. It's the passive spell block. It's the Lincolns.
Yeah. Razor, static link, buff duration reduced just slightly at the earlier levels. Storm Surge, shard damage increased from 120 to 150. And that's basically it. Okay, so whatever. My boy Ricky. Blink Strike now provides 50% attack animation increase for the attack. Wow. That was always awkward that you blink in, and if you move right away, you don't actually attack, right?
Yeah. You could move before the attack completed and it'd be super awkward.
Okay, Tricks of the Trade. Attack damage reduced by 50%. Holy shit. Now increases your agility by 100%. What? What does that mean? Is that passive?
I'm pretty sure that means during your Tricks of the Trade. So it'll do more damage. It'll do more scaling damage.
The horse? Wait, how does it do more scaling damage?
Because it
If it
gives
was-
you an ability increase.
Yeah, but you're doing 50% now.
Right, but 100% of your agility combined with backstab is already more damage.
Sleeping Dart, which is the shard, duration increased from 3 to 4, so you can sleep somebody. Shard sleep no longer makes the target invulnerable to damage. They now wake up after taking 200 damage, so kind of like the Echo Stomp, I suppose. Let's see any meaningful changes here. Level 15 talent is now 8% cloak and dagger movement speed while invisible. That's nice, although I can't remember what the other one is.
That sounds worthless.
It's nice, okay? Especially with all the movement speed nerfs today. It's nice to see it back on the board.
I guess, but the other talent is smokescreen cooldown, right?
Yeah. Which I would never take personally because I don't want to help my team. Very
Oh.
selfish.
That talent is imbalanced.
20 talent instead of the cast range on Blink Strike, which was the best talent in the entire game, by the way. Minus 4-second Blink Strike replenish time. Wow, what a fucking nerf.
I don't know if that's correct. This might be better.
No way this is better.
In terms of raw power, obviously, power is better than... power and cast range are totally different. But this sounds not bad.
I'm surprised. I think this is a giant nerf. That is like the best talent in the whole game. Be able to blink from an entire screen's worth.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
This hurts me. This change sucks ass. I hate it. Smokescreen, 25 talent, AoE has been increased dramatically by 50. Okay. Rubik, his shard for telekinesis, throw range increased by 25%. And the cooldown has been reduced. Okay, kind of whatever. His 10 talent is now 175 telekinesis landing damage. Interesting. Instead of the cast range at 15, it's 0.6 second telekinesis lift duration.
So this gives you a better way to actually farm. You
Right.
can lift the creep and blast it without having to use your stolen spell.
Sand King, you play this hero. All right, he has the worst shard in the game. Let's see what it does. Burrow Strike, Scepter, cast range reduced by 100. Okay, interesting. Shard no longer triggers if there's no nearby enemies. So that means, okay, so that's a little bit more reliable then. This is the passive epicenter, by the way, for people that don't know. Every X amount of distance that you go, it uses a pulse. And the AoE is increased by 75.
This is strange because this is like it's both a buff and a nerf, right? In terms of practicality in fights, like you always have it up for when you want to fight heroes. But it pushed out waves too. It farmed. It actually did stuff.
What? That doesn't change anything here.
Epicenter shard no longer triggers if there are no enemies nearby.
Yeah. Enemy creeps. That's an enemy.
Oh, okay. You're right. I thought it was only enemy heroes.
So what this allows is just a little bit more consistent use when you're like walking to it. Like once you get to the creep wave, it will go off, kind of thing. So
Right.
you don't have to walk around like an idiot. I don't know. The whole shard, part of the idea I kind of like, but in execution, it just feels horrible. So
Yeah, it's just because it's so inconsistent, right? You can't really use it for the purpose it's designed very reliably.
all right, Shadow Demon. A lot of talent changes. Anything significant here? More Shadow Poison damage at 10. 15, you get 200 Demonic Purge damage instead of at the 25. So the 25 is replaced with minus 30-second Demonic Purge cooldown. So if you get Agony Scepter, you get the triple Purge, and now it's on a lower cooldown. That sounds pretty insane. Although, how often are you getting 25 on this hero, I guess?
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard. All these are more powerful, of course, but it's strange because this hero is heavily cast range dependent. And those are getting all removed, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, Shadow Friend, base armor increased by 1. Shard has been reworked. Now causes Presence of the Dark Lord to reduce magic resistance by 14%. Oh, interesting. That's nice. Necromastery, Soul Lost on Death reduced from 50% to 40%. Okay. It's a nice quality of life, I guess.
Not significant buff. 1 armor is good. Base attack time is good. Shard giving magic resistance or reducing magic resistance, pretty good.
Yep.
Not bad. I'll enjoy watching it blown up by more Shadow Fiends.
Yep. Gunner is a big fan of that hero, by the way. Shadow Shaman. 75 Serpent's Ward attack range is the new 15 talent. And yeah, that's basically it. Man, Ether Shock damage. Feels like they've been increasing this. 370 extra. That's insane. Jesus. Silencer. Arcane Curse. Damage reduced by 6. No longer pauses damage when the debuff duration is delayed. Okay. And Glaives of Wisdom for the Shard behavior fix was reducing non-Glaives damage to the secondary target too much. Okay. So this essentially is like a farming mechanism.
Just some bug fix. Not much, really.
Yeah. Okay. Skywrath Mage. Base damage increased by 2. Reworked Shard upgrade, which I don't even remember what the hell it was. Every time you cast abilities, you gain 5 int and 1 armor for 35 seconds. Wow, that's cool. Huh. Which obviously increases the damage of Arcane Bolt every time you do that.
Shard gave them it reduced their status resistance when
Oh,
you put silence ability on them, so it went up by 50%. So your stuns would last a lot longer.
Right. Okay. Arcane Bolt damage multiplier reduced as a result of this shard, I guess.
Yeah.
But the base damage increased. So, I mean, that shard sounds cool. I kind of like it.
Sounds cool, but it sounds pretty worthless.
It sounds more for a core Skywrath.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty much it for him. Slardart. Sprint no longer unlocks max movement speed. Oh, no. Sprint river speed rescaled to 25%. Sad. Crush Shard now applies the debuff before the damage, and Shard now also increases the radius by 75. Wait, what is... Wait, Shard is amazing, by the way. I love Shard on this hero.
Amps.
Yeah. I love it again. Like, you just blink, initiate, and you've already amplified everybody. So, and the fact that it now applies the debuff before the damage means that your Crush will just inherently do more damage now. So, and AoE increase is huge for Crush. I mean, why don't they do this shit for fucking Centaur? Centaur needs...
They give him 15 AoE or 25 AoE.
Yeah, this is 75. That's quite
money.
That's quite the difference. I'll pay money for it. I don't give a shit. Bash of the Deep now does double damage against creeps. Okay. And yeah. Slarky Malarkey reworked Shard upgrade. So grants Depth Shroud. Creates a 300 AoE cloud at the target location for 3 seconds. All allies inside the radius are hidden and have increased regeneration and movement speed. What was his shard before? Oh, it was the fish thing.
Bait. Yeah.
I think it was horrible. So this is kind of like his old Ags, except it's a target location. So
yeah.
It's very defensive. What do you think?
It sounds good, honestly. It sounds really good.
Yeah, they get a bunch of regen, so yeah, I kind of like it. I mean, his old Ags that kind of worked that way, it was terrible, but it sounded cool in theory. Movement speed rescaled a bit for Shadow Dance. Yeah, that's it. Snapfire. Base armor increased by 1. Little Shredder damage increased by 15. Armor reduction duration increased by 1. The Scatterblast Shard stun duration has been increased by half a second. I've actually seen that quite a few times. It's pretty decent. And Fire Snap Cookie. The jump reduced slightly. And yeah, that's about it. Any thoughts on this hero?
Still a pretty weak hero, honestly. Don't expect anything to change with this hero.
Okay. Sniper. Take aim active rework no longer gives double damage or double range for an attack. Now lasts 4 seconds and grants you true strike and 30% headshot chance. Causes you to move 30% slower. Why? Okay. So 30% headshot chance. It's already like 45%, so that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Concussive grenade. I've seen this a few times. It's absolute ass. Now knocks sniper back for 15 units away from the target direction. Okay, so it's a nice getaway now.
Yeah, it's
cast
a
range increase.
Position, right? Your discount Hurricane Pike. That's strange. Like, this hero's never going to be good just trying to build off of this concept of being a long range dude. Causes you to move 30% slower. How strange, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the point of that is. Spectre base armor increased by 1. Damage for Desolate increased at the earlier levels slightly. Spectral Dagger cast range reduced by 200. Shadow Step. Is that the Ags?
Yeah.
Cooldown reduced by 5. And Dispersion Shard can now target any enemy hero that damaged you in the last 8 seconds. Can ground target to find the closest valid target. So before, I think it just chose the last hero that damaged you, right?
Right. If you got March of Machines by Tinker, you'd take damage, press your Dispersion ability, and it would find him. Now
That's amazing.
Find him.
Oh, I see. So it's actually worse, is what you're saying in some cases.
It's worse for that case, but overall, it's probably better.
Yeah. Overall, it gives you more choices, I suppose, on who to go to. Right. Spiritbreaker, Nether Strike cast time reduced slightly, much needed. Bulldoze slightly decreased in speed. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, whatever. Storm Spirit. Have you seen this Electric Rave? Do you think it's OP?
It is certainly OP. It's one of the most game-breaking things that's still in the game.
And it's now an active on Overload instead of a dedicated hotkey. That's the change it got, Brax. What do you think?
I'd call it a buff. Making things simpler is always good. But I wasn't like that to begin with, but whatever.
Yeah, true. Ball Lightning travel speed rescaled to be a little lower, 200 lower at level 3. Overload bounce talent is no longer applied to allies that have the shard buff. Only Storm Spirit benefits from it now. Okay, that's good. That helps at least.
That was
Bounce.
made it game breaking. You would actually, it was like old Sven Darkseer where you would just one shot people that got that were too close to each other.
Bounce talent now causes the secondary attacks to do 75% instead of 100%. Okay. And that's only interesting one. I guess he has a CDR one at 20 now for Static Remnant. Sven, Shard now also reduces cooldown by 4 seconds for Stormhammer. And the Agony Scepter cast range has been reduced by 50, as if anybody was even buying that item anymore.
That's sad.
Yeah, God Strength damage increased by 20%. And
He's got an attack speed talent at 10. Not terrible.
yeah, he actually has 25% Great Cleave at 15. More cleave.
Okay.
And I guess they changed it around so that his Warcry armor is now at level 20. It gives you 10. Okay. Techies. 10 increased movement speed.
Oh boy.
Yeah, thank God. Can't wait to see more techies. Cast time improved for the remote mine slightly. Minefield can no longer be placed in fountain area.
Thank God it only took them however long to fix that one.
Shard cast range for blast off reduced by quite a bit. Stun radius though increased, so it's now matching. And the shard stun duration increased slightly. Okay, whatever. Delete that hero, please. TA. Meld damage increase at the earlier levels. The shard for psionic trap silence duration increased. I've actually seen this a few times. So 1.5 second minimum time and 3.5, which is quite a bit for silence. The shard increases vision from 400 to 525. And the psionic projection, which is the Agony Scepter, which I've never seen, has been getting, what is it called? Power creep? It's been getting power crept, whatever it's called.
I guess so. What does this even do? I have no clue.
You can teleport to psionic traps, and it's a free meld, kind of.
Oh, okay. I know what it is.
But it costs, I mean, this is like something you pick up on Roche.
Right.
So that's a 10-second cooldown.
Sure, we got significant buffs. The meld buff is insane. You'll actually see meld at level 3 on TA, level 4. And you'll meld the enemy if they're melee heroes over and over, and they probably can't sustain it. The trap shard thing is super good. Like, heroes like Puck, Void Spirit, they use themselves to debuff all these silences, and there's another one ready for them. It's really good against all that.
And he gets a Psyblade's range talent. 10 now. 80 extra range. Wowee. Okay. Terror Blade. Did he get buffed from the anime? Base damage increased by 4. Base armor reduced by 2. Meta attack damage bonus has been reduced by 20. Attack range bonus reduced as well for the earlier levels. So far, nerfs, kind of. Reflection illusion damage has been increased at the earlier levels. Nothing significant here, it looks like, in terms of the skills at least.
Skills. Reflection looks a lot better. This looks like an extremely valuable 1-point ability. It's 35 mana, it lasts 5 seconds, the illusion deals 55% damage. This looks really powerful for laning. And along with the base damage increase and health regen increase, this hero is probably a lot more powerful, honestly.
All right, good. More buffs for the anime.
Yep.
So far, we are staying true. All right, Tidehunter, nothing. Timbersaw, base armor increased by 1. The reactive armor duration lasts 3 seconds less now. Regen per stack reduced as well for the earlier levels. So laning stages, I mean, does get the 1 armor starting.
He does.
Timber Chain cast range has been reduced by 150. Travel speed has been increased at the earlier levels. Flamethrower, which is his shard upgrade, no longer ignores ancients, and it now affects buildings for 40% damage. That is kind of significant, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And yeah, those are the significant ones, I guess.
Regen changes are very, very significant on this hero. Getting them nerfed in the early parts of the game is really, really hard. Especially with the duration lasting less. That's what they've been doing to this hero. They've been nerfing the armor in the early stages, so he still is effective later on in the game, but this hero is really dependent on having a good start, so yeah, not great.
All right. Stinker Tinker. Defense Matrix, which is the shard upgrade. Status resistance increased by 10%. The HP increased by 75, and the duration by 3. Laser Scepter current health reduction reduced by 5%. Rearm. Let's see, cast point is 0. Okay. Channel time is twice as long now, though, 1.25 seconds. And that's about it. Yeah, it ends up being the same, basically, right?
It's a feel good change, right? It's that time before you actually start doing it.
Yeah. Very true. All right, Tiny, please get a buff. Base HP regen increased by half a second. By half a second, I mean half a point of regen. It's getting late here now, apparently. Reworked shard upgrade now causes tree grab to have no charge limit. Oh, that is sexy. Okay, Craggy Exterior was garbage. So that's nice. That is a really good shard upgrade.
Okay, it's kind of cool.
Grow armor increased by 2. Tree Volley, which is the Ags, cast range down by 100. And the cast range reduced as well. Okay, so some nerfs here, it looks like. And then for talents, what do we have that's significant here? 15% tree grab unit damage bonus. Okay. What's the other talent at 15? I'm trying to remember. Is that avalanche damage, I think?
Damage. But the combo on this hero is nerfed anyways. They're pushing this hero more to like a right clicker instead of the burst damage. How strange. This hero has a 15% status resistance talent.
Huh.
I thought we were done with this shit. Now it's back.
I'm okay with this. It sounds good to me. Hmm? All right, Tiny. Can play you position 1, get S and Y, you know. Sounds good. Treant Protector, Nature's Guise, Shard now also grants invisibility near trees. Okay. And talent-wise, 450 AoE living armor now works on creeps. How did it not work on creeps before?
It just didn't.
Interesting. Okay. Troll Warlord, Whirling Axes, ranged mana cost, up by 10. Distance, down by 50. Reworked Shard. So his Shard before was Battle Trance was the old Battle Trance kind of.
Right, it
Gave
gave it
everybody attack speed globally. Okay, so rework shard upgrade grants Rampage. Globally causes all allied heroes to, this sounds exactly the same, to gain 70 attack speed or 25% status resistance for 5 seconds based on which stance Troll is currently in. Holy shit. Range provides attack speed, and melee provides status resist.
Okay, interesting.
Wow.
Long cooldown, but pretty powerful effect.
Wow. So I'm guessing as you switch back and forth, it keeps changing it, right?
Oh, that's yeah, it's just based on whatever stance he's currently in. Maybe it doesn't change. Maybe it's just based off of whatever you use it on, and then you can switch freely afterwards. I don't actually know. To me, it's
Wow.
not very clear.
So I would say the status resist is going to be more helpful on a consistent basis, actually, unless you have like another
Yeah,
right clicker on the team.
I would agree. The offensive part of it sounds like when you're, hitting their base or hitting Roshan, and the status resistance is going to have value all the time, pretty much.
Right. That's very cool.
Interesting.
I hope it's based on what stance you're in currently, though. That would be a nice quality of life. Okay. Berserker's Rage, bonus armor. It starts out worse, but ends up with 1 extra by level 4. Battle Trance movement speed reduced by 5%. And that's all that's significant.
Speed for you to run into their fountain after pressing it because this ability is quite dangerous.
I hate this ult so much, actually. I was hoping they would rework this ult somehow to just not be so feast or famine.
You should be able to press it again to turn it off.
Yeah, that would be a nice quality of life as well. All right, Isatuska, base HP regen reduced by 0.25. Walrus Punch now does the attack animation damage 40% faster. Tag team damage reduced by 5. Oh my goodness. So it's more prevalent in the early game. Snowball cast range reduction. Ice shards, same. So it's a bunch of nerfs. Frozen Sigil, which is his shard, no longer reduces attack speed. Shard attacks to destroy increase from 4 to 6. The radius, the vision radius, from 400 to 650. Movement speed from 340 to 375. Less mana cost and slow up by 5%. It's a lot of changes for a shard I've literally never seen anybody pick up before.
All right, it was a pretty decent shard. It probably still is. Not reducing attack speed anymore is pretty big, but whatever. It gives more vision. It's still fine. Sure got nerfed a little bit, but it's not the worst thing in the world still.
All right. Underlord. I need to go back to this troll thing. Which stance was the status was this? Is that melee?
Melee.
Good. Okay. Underlord. Attack range increased by 25. Firestorm radius it's now less. It's at 425. That's too much math for me, honestly. 65, is that it? Shard no longer provides healing. Shard now also increases Firestorm wave count by 3. So the shard is weird. You cast it on yourself, right?
Right, and it would follow you, and it used to heal you.
But was it a choice? Could you
Yes.
still cast it normally? Okay. So you get 3 extra, and the fact that this does percentage-based damage is pretty huge, actually. Dark Rift, I've actually seen this in a pro game, which I guess makes sense. Scepter now also increases radius from 600 to 900. No longer reduces cooldown, though. And it now causes to have 2 charges. So you can go, you get a team wipe, everybody goes back to base to heal real quick, and then you just TP back. It works on... What's the Ags do again? It works on allied heroes, or is it creeps or something?
Heroes.
Heroes, that's the one that didn't.
To travel to.
Yeah.
Thing. The Uber's gotten an upgrade, but I don't know. It's whatever.
All right, you get Firestorm Radius at 10. That's kind of nice. And 40% atrophied allied hero bonus at 25. Okay. We have Undying. Agility gain increased from 0.8 to 1.2.
Bowie says that the troll thing changes based off if you're melee or ranged. So it does keep following you.
It's dynamic. That's pretty sick. I like that.
That is cool.
Thank you, Bowie. Decay now deals double damage to creeps. That gives him a little bit of farming capability, I guess. Huh. That's kind of a huge change, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly helps the hero. This is the biggest problem with this hero, right? That he literally cannot farm unless he presses Tombstone on everything. But it's still not very much damage because you don't really level this skill. Like, this is a 1-point skill.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It doesn't really address the issues.
But if you're in the mid game where the hero is considered just absolute garbage, that you're just a tombstone and you're just an amplified damage wherever you walk around, this allows you to push waves a little bit.
Yeah, it does for sure. It certainly helps. It's just strange that it's on the ability that doesn't get maxed till later.
Okay. Mr. Ursa reworked Shard upgrade, which I actually liked, so I'm a little sad about this. Now causes Earth Shock to apply a 1.5 second enrage buff on yourself. Reduces cooldown by 2 seconds.
Sounds amazing.
That sounds even better than the old one. So
Yeah, it does. This sounds awesome.
So the old one is every 6th attack on a target, you got an enrage buff for a second, I think. So Earth Shock applies a 1.5 second enrage buff. That's really good. And it reduces the cooldown on, I assume, Earth Shock?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is actually fantastic for the hero.
He doesn't get the 3-second cooldown reduction anymore, though, at 20. Instead, it's 10% enrage status resistance. So even more. Okay. By the way, out of curiosity, for 25 talent, what do you take for Ursa? Is it the Fury Swipes or
It's
the
the
Earth
Fury.
Shock? Okay. Because the Earth Shock one it's really nice.
If you want to do the numbers, like those last 3 hits from Overpower do so much damage, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Very true. Vengeful Spirit, base damage has been increased. Base movement speed increased by 5. Vengeance Aura Scepter Illusion movement speed reduced by 5%. The Wave of Terror, which is part of the Shard, in terms of the damage stealing, has been reduced by 5%. Shard now also steals 20% of the enemy's base armor. Ooh. That's cool.
How weird.
That's kind of cool. Wait, why does that matter, actually?
Well, it gives it to you. You take their armor.
Oh, it didn't do that before.
Right.
But the fact that it's base armor, does that even matter at all?
I mean, late game at Terrible, it'll have 40 armor. It'll take 8 armor.
So
make you happy?
I'm just saying, like, if it's just 20% armor versus 20% base armor, is there actually going to be a difference?
Wait, say that again?
Like, if you, let's just say you deleted the word base from this.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
a
said,
large difference.
so if you're stealing just armor, it's only going to be the plus armor if it doesn't say base?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Anything? Cast range at 20, changed to minus 15 second nether swap cooldown. Alrighty. Buenomancer. Nothing major here. Poison Nova radius increased by 55, I think is the math. Duration increased by 2 seconds. He gets an attack range talent at 10. Interesting. 12% spell lifesteal at 15 now.
Poison Sting nerfs from the base skill and the talents. It's kind of sad. This hero was nothing special before, and now it overall looks weaker, honestly.
Don't care about Venomancer. He can die in a fire.
Care about Viper.
I love Viper, though.
Good.
So it's one of the 2 heroes that can play mid, all right? Poison attack mana cost rescaled to be lower at the earlier levels, basically. Shard armor reduction reduced from 1.5 to 1. Yeah, probably for the best because it was mega OP late game. Shard now also causes it to affect buildings for 40% poison damage. Wait, what? Wait, how does that work with his talent? Oh, okay. You got rid of it. So now 2 times corrosive skin slow and resistance. They got rid of the 5 corrosive skin stats at 15, which makes me sad. Huh. Interesting.
300 health is very significant, though.
Is it?
Yes, it's much better than 5 corrosive skin stats.
Is it, though, Brax?
It is. That's what the math says.
I'm trying to think of this shard now. So you're doing 40%. So basically what this means is it's worse late game, but you can actually deal damage to buildings before you get to 25 now. And for those that don't know, this was mega OP once you hit 25. Mega OP. 1 team wipe, you just go throne. Okay. Visage, also known as Visage. Base armor increased by 1. Wait, what do you say?
I used to say Visage, and then I've been corrected to Visage, but Visage sounds cooler.
It does. Shard heal increased by 10%. Got rid of the cast range talent, -3 second grave chill cooldown, whatever. Another hero that's just super uninteresting. I don't know how you feel. You played a little bit of this hero before, right?
I've played this hero a bit. It's really uninteresting, honestly. This is a boring ass hero.
Yeah.
I think the concept sucks.
Yeah, I agree.
It's one of those that's really difficult to balance as well.
Void Spirit, expecting mega nerfs here. Dissimulate shard damage increased by 75. I actually like his shard quite a bit. Aether Remnant cast range reduced by 150. Astral Step cast range reduced by 100. Replenish time improved by 2 seconds. Resonant Pulse gets a mana cost. It costs more earlier. Cooldown has been increased by 2 as well. So nothing truly major.
Why can't they just destroy this hero?
It's still good.
This hero is way too imbalanced. It needs to be. This hero is this is a hero that's been ported from a different MOBA. It's actually super imbalanced. It has 4 damaging nukes, stun, you know, I guess damage and vulnerability, right? And dissimulate, you can't be targeted. Gap close, damage mitigation. This hero does everything in the entire game. And I would really love to see this hero just nerfed so bad that it's not even playable, but I guess it got slightly nerfed, right? Aether Remnant cast range, but this is so minor because usually when you press this ability, you're pressing it after you Astral Step anyways. And then there's just cast range changes across the board, so I don't even think of it as being that bad on the Astral Step department. And then there's a 2-second longer cooldown Resonant Pulse. So this hero is still very playable, super minor nerfs if you even want to call it that. But I don't know how you feel about this hero, but this hero terrorizes every high-level game. I hate it.
It doesn't come up that often in our game. I mean, based on just watching the major, obviously this was picked like literally every game. So
this hero is extremely imbalanced at a high level.
I think maybe some of it has to do with like maybe part of the unknown of because the whole patch, the mid lane has changed a bit because of the rune situation and the bounties. I don't know. Maybe they're just not willing to axe somebody completely. But who knows? Okay. Warlock. Shadow Ward Shard. That's a new skill, apparently. Movement speed slow reduced from 20% to 10%. What? It got a nerf? Was this not the most garbage shard in the game? Am I an idiot?
I don't even know what it did, I'll be honest.
It's Shadow Ward just applies a slow. That's it.
I see.
How did this get nerfed?
Well, you gotta read the next line. That's why it got nerfed. It got nerfed in preparation for this buff.
Okay, Shadow Word. Shard now also changes it to 400. Okay, 458.
Well, actually, I guess you're technically right because one is Shadow Ward and one Shadow Word. They are different spells, so I don't know here. This is confusing.
Yeah, that is a good point. I pulled a purge again. Okay, so upheaval, cast time improved a bit. AoE reduced at the earlier levels. Slow cap rescaled. So now you actually have to level this up to get up to 100% slow. Slow per second rescaled as well to be higher at the earlier levels, and max duration reduced for the earlier levels as well. So just more scaling differences here.
So you reach the threshold faster to levels. The threshold is lower, obviously, but you stack it up faster.
Chaotic Offering, Scepter, spawn interval reduced from 0.4 to 0.2. And you get Golem movement speed instead of cast range. How nice. And that's kind of it. Okay.
Upheaval DPS.
That's true. You get 40. I mean, it's like a sandstorm that slows.
Yep.
That's kind of cool. Weaver, Shikuchi no longer unlocks max movement speed and now moves at haste speed always. So that is a pretty big nerf.
Cool. Thank God. But this gives people no reason to really buy boots anymore in this hero. You'd buy him before because it scaled
Mm.
off your move speed.
Yeah, true.
Oh, 2 Shikuchi
Two
charges.
Shikuchi charges at 25 instead of the movement speed. Hmm. And the other one is the Geminate extra attack, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's funny because that talent was also extremely good. It was just way harder to justify over the movement speed, and now it might just be good.
Wind Ranger, Shackle Shot, mana cost reduced. Shard now also reduces cooldown of Power Shot by 1.5 seconds, and the kill threshold no longer scales based on Power Shot channel. Okay. I think I've seen this more to just scout out Roche than anything else. Windrun Scepter no longer unlocks max movement speed. Still provides 2 charges, though. And now passively provides 30% evasion. Passively now provides haste instead of increasing the speed from 60% to 100%.
How pointless, giving a hero with 100% evasion more evasion.
It's a reason to buy the Scepter, I guess. I don't know. 2 charges is pretty nice, though.
Yeah, 2 charges is still nice, but I mean, you know, against this hero, you'd always buy MKB or Bloodthorn anyways, and just the buff here in exchange for no longer unlocking max movement speed is just more evasion. That's true. It's just so weird.
Does evasion, how does it work if it goes on over 100%? Does it make any difference with the way True Strike works now?
I don't believe it does. I don't see how it could.
Because I've seen that mechanic in other ways work that way for some reason, but I don't know how it works with evasion.
Right. It's one of those where it shouldn't, and if it does, it's probably a bug.
Or
I
a
mean,
feature. You never know.
right, or a feature. That's true. You never do know. Evasion's pretty low value. MKB, of course, it's 80% chance to proc, so it's not guaranteed. There's still some value in it, but it's pretty small.
Mm-hmm. All right. Winterwyvern, base armor increased by 1. This is Ice Frog's way of saying, please play this hero. Winter's Curse now ends if there's no enemies in the area for 2.5 seconds. Wait, what? Let's keep reading. Cooldown reduced by 10 seconds. Duration increased at the earlier levels. Curse radius increased by 25. Attack speed increased by 10. Okay, that doesn't answer my question. So does that mean you can't solo curse very well? Is that what that means?
It's just a nerf to solo cursing with Carry Wyvern, hitting them with Arctic Burn or channeling Meteor Hammer on top of them. That's all this is. I mean, technically it's a buff to support if you accidentally misuse curse on one target, but even then you'd still take them out of the fight anyways, so you might want that. It's just such a weird thing.
All right. Cold Embrace Shard no longer increases Splinter Blast damage by 80. Now also reduces cooldown by 5 seconds. So what the hell what does the shard even do?
I don't know.
Before it cast a Splinter Blast plus 80. I guess it still casts a Splinter Blast. It's just not plus 80 damage.
Cold Embrace ends, a Splinter Blast goes off at that location, hitting enemies within 1200 range.
Okay.
And it reduces the cooldown of Cold Embrace.
Considering I've literally never seen this, I'm surprised it got nerfed. Although it does lower the cooldown of Cold Embrace. So, okay. And you get 100 extra Splinter Blast damage at 20 if you want as well. Okay, Witch Doctor. Paralyzing Cask hero damage increased by 10 at all levels, so it gets increased by 30 overall.
Cool, great. Can't wait to get cast over and over still in this current patch.
Yeah, level 15 talent looks like we have a new ability called Maledict. The AoE has been increased by 20. And yeah, okay. Wraith King, just talents. We have nothing super major.
It's a small talent buffs, but doesn't really matter.
And then Zeus, base armor increased by 1. Please play this hero. Static Field, Shard, cooldown reduced from 14 to 11. I love this Shard, by the way. The little baby jump.
I've seen it, and it looks so clowny.
It's cuddly. I think it's actually legitimately decent. I don't know if it's good, but it's like a mini Force Staff. You know, how can that not be good for a Zeus? And does damage.
Certainly very useful.
This is interesting. So
50% spell life still at 25. Did you read that?
That's when I was reading. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a shit ton. This is a full heal Zeus hole.
pretty cool. I like it. This is more for core Zeus because support won't ever get to 25 anyway. All right.
All right. Well, that's it, I guess. Overall impressions. What do you think were important? I'm going to ask you the questions you should be asking me because I want to gather your thoughts first.
You want to steal my thoughts?
Exactly. I need something smart to say.
Hero changes pretty boring for the most part. Glad to see Lifestealer back though. I'm happy about that one. Let me scroll back up past the hero section because my scroll wheel doesn't work. In terms of items, glad that Necro's gone, obviously.
Sad.
I will say 85% of this patch is super minor. It doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect, but like each individual change is super minor in nature. So it made it more miserable to read from my perspective at least. Let's see. And then like I like the changes to the map based on just the pictures I've seen. I've yet to actually get into the game, obviously. I hate the 2 attribute change. I hate this a lot. The water rune was my suggestion, so obviously I like that. We'll see how it works. But it feels like a lot of this stuff is difficult to really gauge until I actually see some games, because like the bounty rune stuff being gold per minute now instead of an initial set amount, plus the fact that it's every 3 minutes, just changes the way that the game is played right now completely. So it's really hard to gauge. Overall, update's kind of meh, I guess. It's okay. New hero looks kind of fun, but very League of Legends-esque. So we'll see. How about you?
Honestly, overall, I'm pretty disappointed in the patch. I don't think that a lot of the things that were truly, I guess, difficult to deal with and, on the more imbalanced and overpowered side were really dealt with. I felt like a lot of the problematic heroes of the last patch were not addressed at all. Most of the updates are nerfs. There are very few significant buffs to heroes. The most important thing always in the patches are the map changes and the economy changes. There were 0 economy changes outside of getting assist gold scaling off of net worth discrepancy. I guess there's also extra GPM from the bounty runes that I didn't really give much thought into, I guess. They are important for sure, but I don't know. It looks really underwhelming to me, honestly. Everything is such a minor change. The biggest changes are the map, of course, which I haven't really explored myself yet. So I guess I can't really comment too much on it. But yeah, I mean, I'm sad Necrobook is nerfed. This is the big thing for offlaners to truly get abusive in the game. It looks like the offlane was heavily nerfed, in my opinion. It looks like the mid lane was not nerfed at all. It looks like it was actually buffed. The water runes give you a way to reliably refill, so that when people come to control the mid lane now, you'll be able to just go to the opposite side of them and be able to secure a bottle refill, right?
Right.
Meaning that weaker heroes are able to be played in the mid lane. Now that this happens, there is less of a gap between the most powerful laning heroes or even players and the lesser ones in both regards, because you'll be able to reliably refill resources, especially with bounty runes spawning at 3 minutes. So I would say the skill gap is even more lowered in the mid lane, which has been the common trend over the last 6 or 7 years, honestly. It's much, much more difficult to really abuse the enemy in the mid lane. And I would say the most problematic heroes were not nerfed at all. Puck looks the exact same. Juggernaut looks the exact same. So I don't know. I'm conflicted, I guess. Sanjin Yasha is not nerfed at all. Satanic is buffed. Battle Fury is slightly nerfed. Abyssal Blade is massively nerfed. But to me, this looks like the power dynamic of the game has shifted more so into the 1 and 2 positions rather than the 3, 4, and 5. Actually, that's not true. The 5 position has definitely gained more power, just because there's more gold in the game. But yeah, honestly, it wasn't much of what I wanted to see. Like, very few economy changes. I just expected more, I guess, because the hero changes are really underwhelming. It's the difference between, like, 50 more health on a talent and +1 armor on heroes that were very weak to begin with, and some of the stronger heroes just flying completely under the radar of being nerfed. those are my personal feelings. There's very minor changes with all the neutral items and random items, and they all seem so insignificant.
Yeah, I think
I guess
from
that's how everything feels. Everything feels really insignificant.
yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with anything you said. I think your perspective's obviously gonna be a little bit different than mine because you're obviously pro player and you're playing the offlane position, which based on just what we read, it does not sound great right now. Of course,
Right. Obviously, I'm biased towards my position, right? Because this is the perspective I play and view the game from.
right. I think from my side, like I'm having fun playing the game already. It's just at times it felt a little bit too mundane because you get a lead and all you do is just control the outpost. You get the bounty runes because you already have the map or the positions needed to be able to secure that stuff. You get Roshan, you just continue to snowball your lead. Just feels like games have
They've
kind
become
of
really systematic, right? Like you know exactly what to do from a lead.
right.
You're going to
And I think
control everything on the map. You're going to take all the bounty runes over and over, and you're going to build such a lead that they cannot come back.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, even just watching pro games is kind of the same perspective. So I think it's impossible for me to just read this patch and say that's changed necessarily. I mean, I'll have to play through it and see. So I know the map changes are going to have pretty big.
Related to the map because previously the jungle entrances were all on high grounds, right? So if you were stronger, it was extremely difficult for the enemy to actually contest the high ground, right?
Mm,
It's already an advantageous position. So maybe if the jungles are larger, more flat, more entrances, you won't really be able to sit there and control the area for longer. So maybe there's more comebacks in that sense, and there's less of a difference between the bounty runes, right? Because you can't steal 4 anymore. You can only steal 2.
hmm
So maybe that creates a game where there are more comebacks, but I don't know. I kind of doubt it.
Yeah. So my overall impression is I'm underwhelmed, but I think my opinion can definitely change because there's a lot that we just can't know just based on reading it, right?
Right. This is all speculation.
So yeah, I mean the shard patch excited me. This one has me at least a little intrigued. Obviously, we will be playing it and testing it out, and I mean DPC starting soon for you, Brax. So you gotta get your shit together, bro. You gotta get
Find
Hoodwinks
some.
and CM now, bro.
Yep.
I'm not sure if that's an offlane hero, probably not, but
Looks like a 4 position.
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, appreciate your time as always, Brax. Where can people follow you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at BraxLikesDota. I am terrible with social media, so I have a different name for literally everything. Twitch.tv/Braxton911 and Instagram at Braxton Paulson. I'm terrible, and I don't know which one to switch everything to because it's also it's hard to find the same name on all platforms because I suck.
That's right. Well done, though. Maybe one day you'll figure that out. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, SUNSfan and Brax signing out. Hopefully you like the patch. Let us know in the comments. Goodbye.